Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a sun-kissed South London for opening night in the T20 Vitality Blast 2026. We've already seen a cracking game earlier in the day between Surrey Women and Lancashire Thunder Women, and now it's the men's turn. The scene is set, the Kia Oval will be rocking, the weather is glorious, and this is truly a tie to savour. Lancashire are the visitors. The first time these two powerhouses of the English game have ever met in the group stages, and just the fourth time in the competition's history. So both squads oozing with talent. Tonight, get this, we'll have 14 internationals on show, and it feels like a huge year really for both of these clubs in a competition which they have at times flattered to deceive, just with one trophy apiece between them since it all kicked off, of course, in 2003. So before further ado, let's get to these squads, because as I say, they are dripping with quality. Surrey, of course, first up. So Yas Rana and Ali Brown are with me. Adam Thomas kicking off, Yas.
Yeah, 19 years old on T20 Blast debut. We've already seen him in first team action this summer. He scored 100 on first class debut against Sussex. Last season he scored a massive 100 against Derbyshire in the Metro Bank One Day Cup too. So yeah, really excited to see how he goes today. Ali, looking at that order, that's what we believe will play out. Obviously there's going to be a degree of flexibility priced in, but is that how you would see it? Broadly, Dan Lawrence in the middle order.
Well, I'm as excited as Jason's face there to see him opening. To be honest with you, I think it's exactly what we want to see. He's obviously very good up top, and I think last year he certainly found that he was at times coming in at 3. I didn't really like that so much. I like to see him right at the very top of the order, only 2 men out, and I think it's great to see him back there. Okay,
and our visitors as well, Lancashire. Now, let's start at the bottom, folks. Look at that name. James Anderson.
The teams are shortly coming out. But just to remind you, we're going to be picking 2 teams for the high catch challenge, courtesy of Kia. Yeah, so if you think you can catch a high ball, we'll come and see you.
14 international players on show today. There are so many missing actually on either side. Players unavailable due to IPL duty, England duty, and injuries too. Anderson, obviously the star name on show. We also see Saqib Mahmood make his first appearance of the summer. But I'm really excited, Ali, by the presence of Joe Moores in that team. Moores just 17 years old today. He becomes Lancashire's youngest ever player in the T20 Blast. And just at a very basic level, it's fun to see a young kid with so much talent given the chance at the start of the season.
Absolutely, and 26 years between young and old. You don't see that very often, but yeah, very exciting time for him. I think there's a lot of experience out there, and James Anderson, just watching him Jimmy down here when they're practicing, and he just looks incredibly youthful. He's taking one-handed catches, he's pinging it back over the top. I mean, I wasn't still playing professionally at 43, but he looks in great shape.
And we're going to see him, you would imagine, with the new one, because Lancashire, as you can see on your screen, have won the toss and elected to bowl. In interview at the toss, Sam Curran, Surrey's full-time skipper now, of course, in T20, acknowledged that he would have probably done the same if he'd won the toss. Do you think that it's any great advantage, Ali?
I don't think so. I mean, the wicket looks green from the women's game earlier. It looked a good wicket. It was a high-scoring game, so I think Lancashire obviously want to chase, but yeah, I think it's a good wicket. I don't think it makes a major amount of difference. I think Surrey go out there and play very positively. Lots of aggression at the top, which I really like, and if they can set a good target, I think you're looking at a sort of a 180 to 200 mark. I think it'll be a reasonably high-scoring game from what I could see from the women's game earlier. But yeah, lots of aggression at the top, and I think this is what we pay good money to watch Jason Roy at the top of the order.
I think looking at the two teams, you'd say that Surrey have the stronger batting depth. Looking at that Lancashire card, you've probably got Chris Green, an all-rounder as high as 6, and then the seam bowlers start with Blatherwick and Coughlin carded to come in at 7 and 8 at the moment. Surrey, on the other hand, likely to have the likes of Tom Curran, Jordan Clark and Sean Abbott at 7, 8 and 9. So that is probably one area where on paper Surrey are stronger. But what I find fascinating at this time of year in the Vitality Blast is how clubs like Surrey and Lancashire, who over the course of a season often field upwards of 20, 22 players across the competition, just how they manage continuity almost in positions and giving players role speciality actually, because over the last few seasons in the Blast, for Surrey in particular, we've seen players move around the order quite a lot, and that can be quite difficult for individual players to manage, but also to construct a positive team dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. That Surrey still littered with international quality, of course, but they are missing one or two. Tom Laws is unavailable due to his involvement with the England Lions. Chris Jordan is looking near. We were seeing him warming up earlier, but he's just coming back to full fitness from that ankle injury. Ollie Sykes as well, very good young player, remains sidelined with a knee injury. And of course, England's upcoming test squad features Jamie Smith, Matt Fisher and Gus Atkinson, all of whom are rested this evening ahead of that series. So it's going to be fascinating to see, if you like, a legend and an apprentice kicking off here. Adam Thomas, what a moment for him. Yas and I were on commentary when he made that debut 100. It was a beautiful moment on a Sunday afternoon. He had all his family and many friends from Guildford CC in to see him make those three figures. And now he's been given, if you like, the plum job, really, to get going in the first six. You saw that innings, as I say, Yas. What did you make of it?
He was just very uncomplicated in a really encouraging way. You might look at the scorecard and see that he came in when Surrey were doing very well, 390 off the 5. But Sussex really tested him out early on. Ollie Robinson brought himself on to bowl, someone who's in the England squad for next week. Henry Crocombe, who was bowling 87, 88 MPH, he was brought on early, and Jack Carson bowled a lot to Thomas earlier. So he was tested by three of the better bowlers on the Div 1 circuit, and he did really, really well. But yeah, what a moment for him also, opening with Jason Roy at the other end.
Look at those numbers. Look at those numbers as well. Just a 10,753 career runs. We don't have his strike rate up there, but that's the real mark of the man. Great to see him as well. Ali, back up top. That's where you want to see him in this order.
No, definitely. I don't like it when he comes in and you've got 5 men on the boundary. He's a boundary hitter. He's got a very similar mindset to me. He's probably a stronger version of me, I would say. And he, when he has to go out and he's got 5 men out there, I think he got a bit frustrated at times last year. I just think up the top, you've only got 2 men out. You've got a third man and a fine leg, and he'll be looking to find boundaries. And I think it's also very good for Adam Thomas because Jason's a very quick scorer, which will allow Adam to just play his way into the game. He can play positively, but at the same time he can sort of just play to get Jason back on strike, and that buys him a little bit of time at the top of the order. So it's a perfect place to put him. I like the matchup, and Jason up front. This is it's certainly what I like to see.
2026 men's Vitality Blast at the Kia Oval, and we are away. Saqib Mahmood from the Vauxhall end. Just watching Jason Roy warming up earlier. He was in fine fettle. I don't want to put the mockers on him, but he was... everything was out the screws. He looks fresh and lean and mean and like he's really going to be up for it this year. He's been giving some interesting interviews to the press as well. I think he's cleared his head. He's ready to have a good year. That's the intention. And there you go, what a start. There to hit, wide and swinging wider, right into his arc. Alistair Brown, he's away.
What an effortless shot that was. I mean, just watching his feet, actually, his timing looks great. I know you're saying about what he was doing before, but to hit that on top of the bounce was effortless. And that's what being at the top of the order means. It's actually, that if you get anything through the offside, if you beat the infield, you're going to get 4, and that was a cracking shot.
So just 2 boundary riders, of course, both behind square on either side of the wicket, and so no cover in front of square at all. It's a calculated gamble. And it brings Adam Thomas on to strike. What a moment.
Yeah, what a moment. Making his T20 debut with Jason Roy at the other end, Saqib Mahmood with the new ball, and likely James Anderson with the new ball at the other end.
Itching to get going.
I think from memory it took him a while to get off the mark on first class debut as well. Sussex really made him work for it.
I like that though. I think he's. You don't want him just flashing away like swinging away like a rusty gate. I like the way it's a good ball, and I'm sure he'll pick up something off the mark imminently.
Shorter this time, in at the body. So Adam Thomas just rehearses the flick off the hip, remains on naught. There's that burble in the ground, people coming in on a Friday evening. It's appointment to view stuff here on a Friday. We've seen it with the red ball all season. Friday is the day for it. And the numbers are flooding in as well here. It's a beautiful evening for cricket. Barely a breath of wind. Punch down the ground and he is away. And let's just savour it, folks. Let's just savour it. Sprawling dive by the 43-year-old forever young, James Anderson. And I wonder if we might be seeing him from the pavilion end first up, or if they're maybe going to hold him back. But anyway, Adam Thomas is away with a tidy shot, punch down the ground, 6 for no loss.
Yeah, the ball has been given to James Anderson. Just on Saqib Mahmood, Phil, he's almost the forgotten man of English cricket at the moment. I was looking up what he's been up to in the last 6 months. He's been out with injury. This is his first competitive fixture of the 2026 home summer. But also, in November last year, he received his first ever central contract with England. He played an ODI for England in September. He's in his late 20s now, and he hasn't been able to put together summers where he's played lots and lots of cricket for anyone, really. So really good to see him back in action.
It is going to be the great man. Right on the stump straight away. And Adam Thomas, who must be having to pinch himself a tiny bit, is away, tidily off the pads. Yeah, it's a very good point. There's a lot to like, always has been with Saqib Mahmood, but it's a truncated career, isn't it? As you say, it's keeping him on the park that's been the challenge for Lancs and for England on the odd occasion where he's been given the nod.
Well, he's only played 40 Blast games.
Yeah.
He's only twice had a season where he's played more than 5 games in the Blast. He's only ever played 34 first-class games.
So just bringing up deep third into the ring. So now 2 men out on the leg side for Anderson. And Roy content to pick up a quiet single into that vast space in the onside. Yeah, he had a very good 100, didn't he? A couple of years back for the then Invincibles. Won that final, of course, at Lords and looked like he was a bowler reborn, really. Yeah, keeping him fit and sustaining it is the challenge. A natural bowler, natural athlete. Anderson gave an interview not too long ago, actually, talking about his plans for the summer and how his run for the Manchester franchise, he said he hated every minute of it. So I have to say I was pleasantly surprised to see him named in the squad this week. He can't keep a great man down, and he clearly fancies it for Lancs. Cuffed away, but smart move by Keaton Jennings to push that fieldsman back out. So just a single.
Yeah, slightly different fields for the 2 right-handers. Thomas on strike, there's a man out behind square on the leg side and a man out behind square on the offside. For Roy, however, it's 2 fielders on the leg side boundary, one at deep backward square leg, another at deep mid-wicket.
In the slot, but just he loses his shape a touch. He'll be a touch frustrated with that.
Ali, what do you make of that field setup for Jason Roy? What do you think the thinking is here from Lancs?
Well, they're definitely trying to go back into him. And as Phil says, he lost his shape a bit because he's just trying to open up a bit and just give himself a little bit of room. Anything outside off stump, he's going to try and hit over extra cover towards the Kia sign. But yeah, they've, for their homework, they're going to be trying to swing it in or on the stumps, I'd imagine.
Beats him. All ends up Roy staying leg side, trying to find that space, but Anderson's too good for him on that occasion. 9 for no loss. Decent start by the visitors here.
Yeah, very decent start from the visitors, and good pace and carry from this Anderson delivery through to Hurst behind the stumps. I know that it's something that everyone talks about whenever Jimmy Anderson plays, but it is remarkable that at 43 years old, he's not just doing well, but physically he looks as good as he was 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, and his pace is up.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you don't see your or my face on the back of a bus, do you? Advertising vitamins, and he looks in great shape. And of course, he's going to open as well. A little bit of swing. The first 4 or 5 overs are where you're going to get most of your swing. So, if I were Lancashire, I'd be looking to bowl at least 3 up front. I'm not sure I'd necessarily come back with him, but yeah, he looks great.
Mahmood to continue. Cuffed away in a quick single.
That's a couple of cuffs, Phil. What a cuff? You describe that as how well hit is a cuff?
Perhaps
like
more
a bunt,
of a cloth.
A bunt at baseball.
Should we go for a cloth instead?
No, I don't think that's a cloth. I think cloth is when you hit it aerially.
You try and smash it and it just trickles along the floor.
No, I don't think it trickles. It just doesn't. It goes about 40% of the intended distance.
Let's just go with false shot, shall we? Rather agricultural heave into the onside, partially stopped, but Roy gets through for a couple.
Question for both of you. Do you think that in the last couple of years, as scores have gone up in T20 cricket, a response from bowlers actually in the power play has been to bowl a little bit more defensively? If we're looking at the opening 14 balls here from Mahmood and Anderson, it's quite back of a length, right? Previously, I think teams tried to really attack with the new ball in T20 cricket. You've got Mahmood bowling here to Roy. There's not a slip in place. There's no real close catcher.
And that is another short one. Slightly slower ball this time, and almost like Roy was waiting for it, so picks up a much needed second boundary.
I think to answer your question there, I think the reason there's no slips is that we haven't got like a Dan Worrell bowling at this end who's trying to swing it away and get them to pick up the edge. And I think what Lancashire are doing very well is actually they're just hitting a good line. You don't want to give any width, especially early on. I mean, certainly as an opener myself, I was always looking for width. How do you create width? But I think they've bowled very nicely. They're trying to mix the pace, but they haven't really varied from sort of fourth stump and hitting a good length as well.
Upish and airborne, but no fielder there, so safe enough.
Yeah, Mahmood is a bowler who in the past has had success by bowling very full. He can be a very skiddy bowler, almost hurries batters. Cam Ponsonby, who was on comms for the women's game earlier, he wrote a piece about how batters feel that Mahmood is quicker than the speed gun suggests because they can't quite see his action the same way as other bowlers. I just find it quite interesting that he hasn't really looked to attack the stumps yet. And I think that's a point about both the line, as you say, but also the length that he's bowled so far. Attacked the stumps on that occasion.
Almost creeps under the bat. Slightly late on it, Adam Thomas, but just gets enough on it.
You do get bowlers who do bowl quicker than you think, and that's because their action isn't quite so easy to pick up. Alan Donald was a very easy action to pick up, even though he was very quick. But Courtney Walsh was probably not as quick, but appeared as quick because you couldn't really pick up. His arms were all over the place as they started to come in, so you were trying to find an area.
Many have said that Shoaib Akhtar is unfair because not only is he grease lightning, but you couldn't see it as well because it would come from behind him. It's just not on. Not on. That is cuffed away. Just for a single.
Of course, Shoaib Akhtar did have a very small period at Surrey as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Not that successfully, but...
It's 18 for no loss after 3.
All right, there's nothing better than being a passionate fan of Surrey Men. Now, I've got a school here. Remind us what your school is.
Winston Churchill!
Right, guys, up you get, up you get. Are you ready? Who are we? Who are...
There you have it. Anderson into his second. So they're persisting with their two key new ball bowlers here. One assumes that they'll shake it up after this, after Anderson's second, but these two are going okay so far, so they might fancy one more. Bit of improvisation from Jason Roy. Un-Roy-like shot, but it's effective, and he's going to scamper back for a couple. He's beginning to know where Anderson's landing it, trying to make a play.
Yeah, in the previous over, Roy looked to get quite leg side of the ball, trying to engineer a bit of width, but he's gone the opposite way here, going across his stumps and whipping the ball towards those fielders on the leg side boundary. Interesting to see how Anderson responds to that shot.
Gets enough of that one. That's gone all the way. What a shot. It's a flat 6 out towards the SSE stand. He's hit a few out there over the years. Few as clean as that. That's a glorious shot, Ali Brown.
Yeah, one of the bigger boundaries as well. He's hit a very good. He's got a good base. I think he's trying to mess around with Jimmy a little bit. He's gone just outside. I favour he might come down the wicket, give himself some room over the offside soon. But he struck that very nicely at a maximum to boot.
Yeah, no more than 25 feet at its highest point. Oh, and he just gets away with that one straight to the man on the 45. So no run. He's trying to whip through the line. Yeah, I've seen Jason Roy literally clear that stand before. One of the most extraordinary shots I've ever seen. He's looking in good fettle here. 21 from 12. And again, picking out the crowd. Look at that. Top tier stuff right at the back of that stand. 15, 20 rows back. That was travelling. 2 in the over.
That's an extraordinary hit from Roy. That, Phil talked about a previous Roy shot that went out the ground here at the key over. That genuinely was only 5 or so metres away from doing so again. It's a long hit towards the gas holder side of the ground, and Roy's nearly hit it out of the ground.
Another cuff.
A quiet dot to finish an explosive over. Jason Roy is leaving his mark on this innings now. 33 for no loss after 4. Surrey's openers beginning to get into their work. Adam Thomas been relatively becalmed. 10 balls for his 6. Jason Roy more than making up for it.
Yeah, fun little battle that between Roy and Anderson. I was just thinking, Roy and Anderson probably never actually played together for England, because Roy's white ball career would have started just as Anderson's finished.
And in the test matches?
Well, Jason played at Ireland, didn't he?
Edgbaston.
But then Anderson was injured after Edgbaston, I think?
Yeah.
So he only played that first game, yeah?
Yeah.
So there you go. 1, perhaps.
1, maybe just that 1 test.
Where's the maestro, Andrew Sampson, when you need him? If you're listening, Samo, wish you well, mate. So, change of bowler, airborne into space. That will drop, and he'll come back for a couple. Adam Thomas. So yeah, it is Paul Coughlin to replace Sak Mahmood.
Yeah, one of 3 debutants for Lancs today. Coughlin in the side, joined the club during the winter from Durham. Other debutants are Joe Moores, we mentioned earlier on, and the Aussie overseas, Ben McDermott.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing Moores later on if he gets a go. Yeah, he's one hell of a talent. 17 and a bit. Opened up for England under 19s in the winter. One of the Moores clan, of course. Nephew of Peter.
It's only a few years ago that Ben McDermott was playing at East Molesey, down by Hampton Court.
Yeah, he's a fine signing. Had some good years at Hampshire, of course. Down the ground, he's in great form tonight. Effortless. And again, that's not limped over the boundary rope.
That's a huge hit. And I know that Jason Roy had some pretty special days out last season. He had one incredible performance at Taunton against Somerset. But I'm not sure I've seen Roy start quite like this in a number of years.
I think what's most impressive is how still he is once he's hit it. In particular, the six that whoever it was down there didn't fancy. I don't blame you. It's £1,000, but it's coming flat and hard. But yeah, I mean, that was... we can see here, that's 20 yards back, as is the straight six he's just hit there.
Make that 4 more. There to hit. Coghlan will be frustrated with that. It's right in Jason Roy's arc. But he's not missing so far tonight. 37 already from just 16 nuts. Superb.
Yeah, first real bit of width from a Lancs seamer this evening. Roy applying pressure on Coghlan. 8 balls remaining in the power play. A couple of changes to the field here. Mid-wicket drops. So similar field to how Anderson started against Roy earlier on.
Coghlan under pressure. That's better.
What a shot.
But there's just no bowling to him. Glorious shot. It's a gamble to have no coverage at all on the offside. And again, he's just eased that through the covers. You know he's in great form when nothing more than a punch.
So
I was asking for trouble when I pointed this out right at the start, but that was the shot he was playing in the nets. Honestly, it was just these short arm punches down the ground and through the covers from, as you say, Ali, a still base.
But in cricket shot bingo, I mean, I know you've gone out with the cuff, but I mean, that would just be the nudge, and it was a beautiful shot, just a small punch.
Make that 4 more. He's toying with Paul Coghlan here. It's agony for the debutant. 21 leaked from his first over in Lancashire colours. Jason Roy, imperious tonight, on to 45 from just 18.
I'm going to put it out there, just the way that he has the last 3 overs, the way that he's played, there's a 140 in there tonight.
Oh, you've gone early.
I know that's early, but it's just the effortless nature. I think Jason, and very similar to myself, you can get in a mode where you get ahead of yourself, and he looks so calm tonight. I'm not saying he will get that, but the way he is, he's taking the pressure off Adam Thomas, who's played nice shots, but they bowl very tightly to him. And sometimes when you're coming out and opening in T20, it's difficult to then go and tell yourself to go and play those big shots straight away. And that's exactly who you want at the other end, to see Jason like that. And this is why, for me, when you only got 2 men out, and all he knows, he can clear that boundary. He can clear the 30-yard circle with ease, and he's not overhitting. And that's what I like about him batting at number 1. And that's what excited me about when I saw the team sheet. And I thought, I really hope he opens tonight, because watching him come in at 3 last year with 5 men on the boundary, you couldn't really do that. And at times, I think at Canterbury, I think he got caught in the deep, and you want to do that, but you get off to a start, and then you're, absolute freedom, and where he's heading to potential 20 ball 50 is just a great base.
Right, ringing the changes here. Chris Green is the off-break bowler, all-rounder. Fine cricketer, very popular as well among the faithful at Lancs. That's all Adam Thomas needs to do just now. So if you went there, Ali, 145 not out is Jason Roy's best in the format. Made back in 2023 for Quetta Gladiators. Made 9 T20 in his time. Sorry, correction, 6. 9 first-class hundreds, 19 list A hundreds, and 6 T20 hundreds. Jason Roy. And there it is. Unfortunately, Alistair Brown has dropped him in it. He's got to go. Just trying to engineer a gap through the packed offside field. And Chris Green, brought into the attack, gets it done. So, after a beautiful knock, Jason Roy has to go. 55 for 1, Ali Brown.
Apologies for the kiss of death, but that was quite an exquisite 45. I thought he played... I can't remember seeing him play as fluently as that. I mean, he is a fluent player, and he's also a very strong player. But to see what he did the last 3 or 4 overs, I think that's very exciting for the whole competition. I think he's made the opening berth his own, and I think he's allowed Adam Thomas just to get into his stride and now perhaps take the mantle as Ollie Pope comes in. But yeah, he'd be very frustrated because I think when you're timing it that well, you go through times. I mean, I scored some very ugly runs, but actually when you're timing it that well, it doesn't come around every time. But he looks in great nick, and it's very exciting for obviously Surrey and the Blast this season.
So Ollie Pope in at first drop, and I can tell you that he scampered out. He was there basically at the crease before Jason Roy had got past mid-off. Good to see. Hungry to make this slot his own at first drop for Ollie Pope. Cuffed away, beautifully played, backward off point, and that will be 4. Not much width, not especially short either, but Pope alive to it.
Yeah, real opportunity this summer for Pope to develop his white ball game. He's never really been able to have a full Blast season because of his England commitments, and this summer, no longer involved in the England Test squad, presents an opportunity. For now.
Still those 2 fieldsmen on the onside, so no cover at all. It's better by Green.
One thing I wanted to say on the Roy dismissal, I think that was just another illustration of something that people said a lot during his England career, how selfless a batter he is in the power play. A lot of players sometimes play for the milestone that was only 5 runs away, but Roy was batting.
Got to hurry. Would have been tight with a direct.
Yeah, but I don't believe being a good player is the one-day average that you have. I think you can judge the 4-day and the Test player by the average that you have. But I think in one-day cricket, for me, above everything else is strike rate. And so, you know, if someone's averaging 5 or 10 more, I want to know how much do they influence a game. And Jason, you know, he's got 160, hasn't he, for England, I think. You know, in ODI cricket, he is a selfless player. And I remember as second team coach here, he got 120 against Scotland, and he got out, and I was like, you could have got 200 there. He's like, and he's always thinking of the team. That's the way he plays, and that's what makes him so exciting, because he can get those really big scores, and he can, you know, he has the potential still at his age to go past the 150s and 180s because he scores at such a rate.
Tom Hartley then to begin the second phase. 60 for 1 from the first power play of the evening, and Lancashire looking at the slow men from both ends here, just trying to shackle this innings, pull the momentum back. It's a good move. Excellent white ball bowler. Top edge will fall into space just between the two. With Hartley's release point, that's always going to be a risky shot. He does tend to get that bounce off a length.
It's be a different challenge now for Thomas. He sort of did the job for the team actually in the power play in a strange way, in that he sensed that Roy was in such good nick that his job was just to get to the other end. But now, 6.5 overs in, he's not had loads of the strike.
I mean, this is a very important 4 or 5 overs here. It's one, if Lancashire can just get the squeeze on, then the start that Surrey have had will get just a little bit negated. You know, you still want to keep... Ollie Pope will look to cut a lot, I think, when he's in. And a cut, of course, is a strong cuff. Yeah, that's what he always looks to do. He's looking to create room, isn't he? And that would be a default shot for him first and foremost. But you know, he's got a nice base, Adam Thomas, and I hope he to take the positive option from here on in.
Hard sweep this time, does beat the man, runs away for 4. He'll be feeling better about life now.
Yeah, his most convincing shot so far, and to follow Ali's point, a really important boundary as well. Surrey will be keen to not allow the Lanc spinners to really settle into a spell. Green and Hartley, 2 high-class operators, and important to get that boundary away at the end of Hartley's first outside the first power play.
I think when you've got Sam Curran and Dan Lawrence to come in next, and Dan Lawrence is as good a spinner, player of spin as there is in the side, you don't want them to sort of chew through a few overs here and not allow that sort of very strong middle order to come in and take advantage. So I like the way they're keeping the momentum up and taking the positive option, and that 4 will really help Adam to get ahead of the rate. So he's now more runs than he's over 100%, and should look to go on from here.
Your stamp of approval that he's been given the nod to open up here. Any number of other options. Evidence of how much he is rated around these parts. Okay, another change. Jack Blatherwick this time on the sweep, and that'll go all the way. What a shot! Ollie Pope, but it's been claimed in the scan. Listen to that.
That is £1,000 for the man in the white hat. Taken very cleanly.
Take a bow, sir.
The Kia catch.
And he gets a bit of Paul Simon as well for his troubles. What a moment.
Well, very easily taken. I mean, I've seen that all the way into the hands, and he's made that look simple.
A relatively nonchalant celebration as well. What a shot that is by Ollie Pope.
He'd be delighted it wasn't a Jason Roy flat 6, but
yeah,
he's
taken.
Yes,
please.
Look
nice, at that.
Yeah.
To the manner born. Tough start for Blatherwick. Pope this time giving room, only a single.
What do we think a target is here in terms of the start? Are we looking at?
You are our target man.
Well, I got the Jason Roy target wrong, didn't I? But I thought before we started 180 to 200 was about where we are, and I think with Jason's start, I think that 200 is a fair reflection of where they could get to. The wicket looks good. I think you can tell from some of the ramps, in fact the ramp that they just played there, how true this is. It's a good green surface, isn't it? It's skidding on nicely. And I think that's potentially why both sides were keen to bowl first if they'd won the toss.
Yeah, just so much batting to come for Surrey. Sam Curran, Dan Lawrence, Laurie Evans, Tom Curran, Jordan Clark and Sean Abbott.
We'll have a look at that. Second tier, straight into the Mickey Stewart Pavilion. That is a glorious shot. He's been becalmed and overshadowed by Jason Roy's superb explosiveness earlier, but look at that. A mark of real class.
And power. It's something that we saw glimpses of during his first class 100 against Sussex. Into the second tier. Almost really up and running now, 23 off 18.
And 2 sixes already from the first 4 deliveries. Blatherwick under pressure, more runs. Got coverage now, so just a single around the corner.
That's what I've got like that.
Leg side, he'll have to bowl that again. Attempting the leg cutter by the looks of it. Misdirected, so this has been a tough opening for Blatherwick. 15 with 1 to come. Yeah, again, just talking about the foundation, the base from which a player can then launch it. That was another perfect example, that 6 from Thomas.
At the same time, when Jason's going like that, you don't want to lose a wicket at the other end. So I think he's playing ahead of his age in terms of what he did to help Jason with that.
Playing a miss to finish up. 84 for 1.
But Jasper here has just caught it, and what Curran Kia won £1,000. Well done. Any words?
No words. Happy days. I just saw it in the pouch. All good.
Well done. That's £1,000.
Having another look at this catch then. Now, in fact, we'll bring it to you when our producer finds the right one. It's out there somewhere.
I think we all had exactly the same reaction as soon as Jasper opened his mouth. Of course he's Australian. That explains everything.
Yeah, the collective eye roll in the box speaks to something. So 3 men out on the leg side, 2 on the off now. Scattered, hit hard and flat and straight. 1 bounce, 4. Beautiful shot. Ollie Pope's looked really good here, right from the get-go. Cut his second ball for 4. And he's taking a fancy here to the slowies.
Yeah, real intent from Surrey against Tom Hartley early on.
Into space, be a couple. Fairly safe shot.
No, this is really good from Surrey. I wonder how Lancashire will manage their pack of bowlers. 6 bowlers used so far. Coughlin, his first over went for 21. Blatherwick, his first over went for 15. If Surrey can put Hartley under pressure as well, decisions will need to be made by Jennings.
Beats cover, will run away for... In fact, it goes all the way for 4. Sprawling effort, but nothing doing. And so, he's on the march here. He's Ollie Pope, 24 from 13. Barely played a shot in anger. Going to have to scamper. And Adam Thomas is quick.
On his heels there, wasn't he? I think that was closer than you think, but yeah, good start. I think you can tell from the wicket actually that actually batters able to get their hands through it. What a good wicket this is. I think all the wickets this year have been quite good, but I think the pace is up on it, and I think the way Ollie Pope's 4 down here was really very impressive. He could hit that flat. He wasn't quite at the pitch, but he could trust the bounce and the pace of it, and it looks a very fine wicket.
So 9 gone, 97 for 1. This innings is bubbling along very nicely indeed. What a night for cricket this is. Heard earlier that the London Derby sold out entirely. Bit of fancy dress in. That'll be the Mario stuff, right, Yas?
You're asking the wrong person, but...
Ali? My nephew has that game. He runs around in a little car.
I've got to say, the fancy dress stuff looks particularly uncomfortable on a day as hot as today.
It's not there for comfort, though, is it? It's
true.
It's a statement of something or other. Going to be Green again, who picked up the only wicket to fall so far. And that will run away quickly as well. It's this glassy surface. Saki Mahmood cannot haul it in. So a false shot, but a fruitful one. 4 more.
And 100 up for Surrey. First ball of the 10th over. Not a convincing shot by Thomas, but a boundary first delivery in the over against Green. You think will be Lancashire's biggest threat in the middle overs. Feel how Surrey go against Green will go some way to determining just how high they can get this first innings total.
think for all the boundaries that I think will be scored tonight, the size of the boundaries indicate that there is 2. If you can get the ball to square leg, there will be 2 every time you get it there, because deep square leg won't get in time. If you can drop in there, that's certainly, if you can get 6 of those, they're 12 and over. But I think you will pick up your boundaries, and towards the JM Finn stand, not the JM Finn advertising hoarding, that's also a nice short side of the ground I think players will be looking to target.
Yeah, we've not seen him yet, but once we see the left-handedness of Sam Curran, I think you'll see Surrey really managing who is on strike with that short side of the ground, something that Curran is so good at. There's one brilliant run chase that Curran managed with Jamie Overton at the other end a couple of years ago, and for the entirety of the finish, the right person had the short side of the boundary throughout.
So Adam Thomas doing this with great maturity and class here, just easing his way up to 32. 1 or 2 stunning shots, but generally he's played quite within himself. Good foil to the senior men. Pope's been busy, of course, as ever, and inventive. And they're happy at this juncture against Green just to pick him off. 50 partnership. Really, really good stuff by these two. 105 for 1 already. Green just slowing things down. And rewarded with a dot to finish. So at the halfway point, 105 for 1.
Very strong start this from Surrey. Jason Roy racing out of the blocks, 45 off just 19 deliveries. Debutant Adam Thomas took a little bit longer to get going, but alongside Ollie Pope has done a phenomenal job here. Surrey racing along at more than 10 runs and over. Lancashire under a bit of pressure at the halfway point now.
Well, they are under a bit of pressure, but I have to say, I think they'll be happy Chris Green just going for a few singles there. I think they could have perhaps, I think Adam Thomas could have just run that second run to square leg a little bit harder. I think in that area they need to be aware that just if Lancashire, if they just keep going for singles, then they'll be happy with that. And I do think that a par score here is over 180. So I think Surrey have a lot of players in the bank, and you know, they can really put the step on the gas now.
Change of ends for Jimmy Anderson. Hit firmly to Jennings at extra cover, just 1 for Pope. Yeah, Anderson started up from the pavilion end. It's not something we've seen Anderson do loads of over the last 10 years. He'd gone 11 years without playing in the Blast before his return last summer. Did brilliantly for Lancashire. Oh, this has gone very, very high, but hasn't gone very, very far.
2 people going for it.
2 fielders converging. And brilliantly taken by Blatherwick, I think it is. Charging in from deep mid-wicket. Had a lot of ground to cover, and he had to be aware of his teammate running in at the same time too, and in the end takes an excellent diving catch, and Lancashire finally have their second wicket.
Yeah, it's a good catch in the end. I think 2 of them were converging, and at the very last minute one of them pulled out, and that but at those times, if one of them doesn't, you take your eye off the ball. I think he did very well to keep his eye on the ball, to a good catch in the end, and an important wicket for Lancashire.
Yeah, and actually looking at the replay, a really clear call early on, not just a vocal one, but the hand gesture too, telling his mate to stay well away. And Anderson brought on, strikes pretty much immediately. And it ends a very good innings from Adam Thomas on debut. He was really impressed during the early stages of the 2026 season. 100 on first class debut, and now 32 in his first outing as an opener in the Vitality Blast.
I think he'll take that. Very tidy start. And not a desperately bad time to lose one, in the sense that you're now into the real meat of this lineup. Sam Curran ready to fly, you fancy at 4. Dan Lawrence in the form of his life, carded at 5. Laurie Evans goes well in at 6. Tom Curran at 7. Jordan Clark at 8.
Short ball first up from Anderson.
Do you find yourself just smiling when you watch him? Just everything he does? Even though it's an unremarkable thing, he's just banged one in.
Well, I remember,
turns on his heels, but there is something heartwarming about it.
Well, I remember we were on air during a Surrey County Championship game when the news broke that Anderson's England career was going to be brought to an end in 2024. And my first reaction was, at the time I was 28, I genuinely don't remember cricket in the pre-Jimmy Anderson world, and how strange it would be for cricket to continue without Anderson being a prominent figure. And I can't believe that 2 years on from his final England Test match, he's still here and he's still doing it. That beautiful action, still doing his thing. We were talking earlier, what is it that motivates him? Because it's not just that he's still playing, he is doing the physically most difficult thing in the game.
Just by point of contrast, Alistair Cook was lauded rightly for playing on at Essex into his late 30s. Another comparison, Joe Root, who I interviewed a few weeks ago and said to him that I have this vision in my head, this dream in my head, that he'll still be batting for Yorkshire when he's 45. And he said, "You must be joking, mate," in so many words. And yet, firstly, they do the easy thing. They just turn up, put the pads on and go and have a hit. Anderson is not far off his mid-40s, and here he is, lithe and lean. And if you like, there's always that assumption or that fear that cricketers, professionally at least, they become maybe a bit jaded towards the end and they have their eye on other things and so on. But there's a purity to him being out there. And it's gratifying, right, from a fan's point of view, because you think, okay, well, the thing that I love is also loved by them.
Yeah, absolutely. And all the more remarkable when you watch Anderson bowl, not just now, but throughout his career, even in his early 20s, he always has a almost permanent look of discomfort on his face whilst he's bowling. Just watching him run watching him run in with that delivery there, the close-up on him as he approached the crease. He wasn't enjoying that, or certainly if he was enjoying that, it was well hidden, well disguised.
I think though he's got a point to prove, hasn't he? He wasn't happy that his England career ended that way, and there were people talking that, oh, what if we bring back Jimmy Anderson? I mean, it wasn't going to happen, but the fact that he was even in an equation of anyone's mind.
It's towards long off, who takes a brilliant diving catch. It's Blatherwick again. Second catch in as many overs, second excellent catch in as many overs, and Pope departs for 31.
I think Surrey need to be careful here. You know, if they lose a couple of, if the next 3 or 4 overs, if they lose a couple of wickets and a bit of momentum, two new batters at the crease, the next 2 or 3 overs could be interesting. I think it's a very even game at the moment in terms of who's ahead. I'd say it's pretty much on as even. Another very good catch though in the outfield. I mean, I can't remember who it was saying that they didn't look very good, Lancashire, in the practice, but they've actually in the game. I think they've been outstanding. 2 very good catches.
No one would ever say that. Yeah, Blatherwick struggled a bit with the ball, taken downtown a couple of times in his 1 over for 15, but made amends and then some with a couple of screamers really in the outer. And suddenly this game, as you say, has shifted on its axis a bit. 3 down now. Dan Lawrence is averaging north of 70 in the championship this year.
Yeah, Lawrence did a slightly strange blast campaign last year, only on the park for 6 games. He was an emergency substitute keeper in 2 of them and scored one of the great T20 hundreds here when Surrey chased down 220 against Glamorgan. And you feel that he's someone who's still got room to develop as a white ball cricketer. Whatever the format, the array of stroke making from Lawrence is always extraordinary. But he's yet to properly, you feel, establish himself as one of the very best limited overs cricketers in the country. There was a brief experiment when he first joined Surrey at the top of the order. It didn't quite work out. But there were early signs last season that back in the middle order, he was really nailing it.
Yeah, I mean, his 100 here was just sublime, wasn't it? And I think he probably plays the walk outside. You know, I know Viv used to like to pick up the ball on the leg stump, but he actually creates that room, doesn't he, by getting outside the off stump and just picking it up with ease. But yeah, I mean, look, the few starts here, 3 starts, and I think it's important that this next 2 or 3 overs doesn't just rebuild. I think they're in a good position, just need to keep pushing on.
Yeah, quietly, Lancs have done well to just rein Surrey in a little bit. They got to 3 figures mark with the first ball of the 10th over, and 2.2 overs later, 2.3 overs later, Surrey have added 10 runs to the total and lost 2 wickets in that time.
He's missed out there because there is only one fieldsman on the boundary square on the offside and 2 men up in the ring. That was there to get a bit on.
First game of cricket for Sam Curran in a while. Groin injury ruled him out of the IPL. This is his first outing in professional cricket since that World Cup semi-final against India in Mumbai. Will hit aerially towards long off again, but falls just short of him.
He's just cut across that. He's looking to go much straighter.
So, a very good over for Lancashire. Just 2 runs from it, including the wicket of Ollie Pope, courtesy of that excellent diving catch from Jack Blatherwick.
What does the cut across become? Is that a slice or a...
You can call it a slice, Ali,
yeah,
if you like.
Not a cuff?
Definitely not a cuff. Felt a bit plinky to me. Blatherwick it is then.
Yeah, on a bit of a roll in the field.
Exactly.
Oh, I like this from Lancs. Blatherwick was expensive with the ball first up, but has made 2 key contributions in the field. Diving catches in the outfield to dismiss both set right-handers, Adam Thomas and Ollie Pope. He will bowl to Sam Curran. All the ring fielders on the offside, 4 men out on the leg.
And that's a heave.
That is a heave, but I think it's an indication.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah. Oh God, of course I'm all right with the heave. There's nothing wrong with a good heave, but I think it's an indication that Surrey don't think they're necessarily ahead. I think it's a very par area at the moment, and they're trying to push a little bit further just to get slightly ahead. I think you're looking to probably get 10, 20 above par, and I think that's an indication of they're trying to go at the ball a little bit more.
Pace off from Blatherwick. Again, quietly, decent start to this over for Lancashire. It's been a while since Surrey have scored a boundary. More than 3 overs now. Earlier on we were speculating whether it would be the Lancashire spinners who managed to apply the squeeze, but actually it's been the seamers. Short pulled hard. Curran again for 1. Slight fumble, but it is just 1 in the end.
I think it's worth indicating that they're actually making Surrey hit into the longer part of the ground as well, isn't it? Their bowling plans are very good. They haven't given much width. They've hit the wicket a little bit, so they haven't just floated it up there. And so when they have been hit, it's a reasonable distance. We're talking sort of 60, 65 yards, aren't we, to that boundary?
Lawrence goes aerial. It's another wicket for Lancashire. Lawrence caught deep mid-wicket. Blatherwick, who'd taken 2 excellent catches, strikes now. And this Surrey innings, well, it's really losing its momentum. Lancashire well back in this game.
How quickly these games can tilt. 106 for 1, make that 115 for 4. Easy catch in the end by Paul Coughlin. Under the high ball, Dan Lawrence trying something funky. The no-look flick hoik. Gets a bit up towards the splice, perhaps. Nicely bowled as well. Back of the hand, pace off, job done.
Yeah, Ali, you were talking about the short and the longer side of the boundary. That was a ball towards Dan Lawrence's leg stump, but towards the shorter side of the boundary, but pace off from Blatherwick.
Absolutely, I think he had the distance, but he didn't realise until too late that it was out the back of the hand, and that's what the pace off just meant. He ended up just 3 or 4 yards short.
Laurie Evans, the new man in the middle. 38 years old, vastly experienced. So vast is his experience that he overlapped with you, Ali.
Yeah, I played with Laurie many years ago, so we're going back to the sort of, well, before 2010 really, so 2005, something around about that era. I think when he was coming through, I remember Martin Bicknell saying that he was a very fine player and he's come in and done very well, in particular in the one day form. He's opened the batting. He's quite resilient where he plays. Keeps, bats middle order.
Yeah, there are certain players in the English game for whom it's curious that they never got a cap, especially in white ball cricket, and Laurie Evans for me is one of them. He's made runs all over the world in franchise cricket. He's got that touch of real class and power as well. Surprised that he never got a nod at any point. I guess that's how it goes.
Yeah, he's basically played in every league in the world other than the IPL. Even now, at his age, he's playing in the BBL this winter.
Had that really good year 2 or 3 years back in the BBL. He was one of the players of the tournament.
Again, Blatherwick bowling to his field. And it's another excellent over for Lancashire. Just 6 runs from it, including the wicket of Dan Lawrence for just 2. And Surrey, who were going well above 10 runs per over not that long ago, their innings run rate now just a smudge over 9s.
I think to give Lancashire some credit, they've actually bowled a very good line. They've given no real width. Their fielding positions have been good. They've fielded very well. They've taken a couple of excellent catches, and they've changed the pace up. So they haven't been, they've sort of mixed it up and done it well. And I think Surrey just need to. I still think you're looking at 190 as where you want to be. So Surrey a little bit behind that at the moment.
Green back into the attack from the pavilion end. 2 very tidy overs so far. 1 for 14. He'll bowl to Curran. How do you think Curran plays it from here? He's just getting into his innings himself, but wickets falling at pace at the other end.
But it is a precarious state of affairs here. But he will know that there's real power at the other end, and enough in the tank as well, when you think that Sean Abbott, who has a 26 ball T20 100, is carded at 9. But they can't play helter-skelter cricket either. Sometimes you just have to respect the right of a fielding side to come back into it, and that's what's happened here. It's been an ebb and flow kind of innings.
You fancy that a couple of overs at around about 7s or 8s is okay. Fair,
yeah.
And then they can go again for the last 5 overs. They've still got a lot of power in the tank. Tom Curran, Jordan Clark. There's a lot of players to come in that can. They've got 5 strong hitters, but they don't want to turn that into 5 or 6 down, and then they're sort of nudging to try and get 60 or 160, 170, 180.
Just 2 off the first 4 deliveries from this green over. Innings run rate now below 9.
You can see why he's so effective as a T20 bowler. Chris Green takes his time, doesn't rush through, he pauses at the top of his mark as if to just suck the energy out of the moment and put it back on to the batter. He's very, very accurate as well. Got to be 6'4", 6'5", makes full use of his height as well, comes in over that off stump. Hard bowler to get away, and he really did shift the mood with that wicket of Jason Roy, and he's gone for 18 from 3. Speaks for itself out there.
Yeah, just 4 runs from that over to follow overs of 6, 2 and 5 directly before it. So Lancashire did a really good job of keeping this Surrey middle order quiet. And I guess one thing that has shifted in the mindset of T20 batters the last year, not necessarily a mindset shift, but a greater appreciation, is just how quickly, after absorbing a bit of pressure, you can catch up. A couple of boundaries changes everything, not just on the scoreboard, but in terms of how the bowler will feel, how the captain might feel like he needs to respond to a couple of boundaries and 2 deliveries. So Surrey, 6 overs remaining, might not necessarily feel like they need to go now.
But give it one more over, and I think they will need to go, and they have the firepower to do it as well. So they'll know, they'll have a rough idea. The opening, well, the players up the top of the order who've been out will come in and say, right, this is what I think a pass score is. It's not that the ball can get a little bit softer. Of course, it's going to be hard, and you've got the power players that you really want to be taking advantage of. But they'll know what a pass score is, and they'll know how to get there as well.
Curran looks to clear the longer side of the ground, and he just about does. The fielder at deep mid-wicket was very interested. It just about clears him, and Curran picks up 6.
It's young Moores, I think, under the high ball. Glorious shot. Got to be a 75-yard boundary, I would say. Much needed from Surrey's perspective.
Yeah, you might look at that at home and see the boundary 10 yards in from the advertising boards, but given where the playing surface is this week, that is a really long hit. And down the leg side, and 4 more. That'll feel really good for the Surrey skipper. Follows the 6 with a 4.
And infuriating for his opposite number, Keaton Jennings, as well, because the squeeze has been on here, and his 2 seamers who got a bit of tap initially in Coghlan and Blatherwick both came back strong. And now Coughlin's just released the pressure valve again, 11 from 3. With a 21 from his first and just 3 from his second over.
Short again, Curran takes on the pull shot. Top edge, just be 1. Yeah, they've looked to go short against Curran from this end with that longer leg side boundary. The thing with that delivery that went for 4 was Coghlan didn't get his line right. It was a little bit too leg side, so Curran just needed a little tickle.
I think the difference is there's probably 10 yards between the distance on either side, isn't it? And so by banging it in, they know that, and banging it in straight, that's a good shot.
Oh, it's a lovely shot from Laurie Evans. Bit of width from Coghlan. Definitely played between the 2 fielders in the ring, behind square and the offside. And this is turning into a really productive over for the home side.
I think Surrey as well will want to actually, they're probably targeting certain bowlers, so those that would be more under pressure. Yes, okay, Chris Green is a good bowler who's bowled very straight and he's experienced and what have you, so they might be thinking, let's take him at 7s or 8s, whereas we can take the others at 10s or 12s.
Only 3 fielders in the ring at the moment, and Coghlan only realised that as he was running into bowl, and he stopped in his run-up. Avoids the no ball. Pace off. And that'll be 1. But just a good sign, actually, of how a couple of boundaries in a short period of time can scramble the mind. Keaton Jennings, and I don't think any other Lancashire fielder realised what had got on there. It was only Coughlin running in to bowl himself who intervened to ensure that they brought that extra fielder in.
He's looking at things and thinking, this is a good-looking field.
A little bit too good-looking. I've got really good boundary protection. I wonder why.
It's going to be Blatherwick to continue. His first over 15, he's had a really good game since. 2 really good catches in the outer and came back strongly in his second over. So the wind is with him at the minute. How quickly these games can shift around though.
Oh. For a brief moment I thought that Evans had timed that well enough to get past the man at short fine leg. Yeah, important over this. 17 runs off the previous one from Coughlin. Can Blatherwick regain a bit of momentum for Lancashire?
I think Sam Curran will be eyeing up the Archbishop at Tennyson's side if he can just get something in his arc.
Targets the bed to stand, boundary, and 6 more for Curran. His second 6, where only just clears the fielder. That's all he needs to do. That is the shorter side of the ground.
Sheer bloody-minded willpower to drag it over to my side. There wasn't too much wrong with the delivery. Bowling to his field, 5-4 offside, but Sam Curran's not having any of it. Just clears long on.
To be fair, you're looking at 45 yards there, aren't you? And it's something that really, you don't need all of it if you can just get some of it.
Swing and a miss from Curran. But again, using Curran's innings as an illustration of the point that I was making early on. It took a while to get going as wickets fell at the other end. You get a couple of shots away and suddenly you're 24 of 16 and striking at 150.
I think he'd be targeting, if he can get a couple of, like a 6 and a 4 to that side, you're looking at sort of 13 or 14 off the over minimum, aren't you? So 2 out of 6, that's probably what you're looking at. If you go for more, then even better.
Bit of width, but excellent work at cover. Gets a hand on it and saves 2. Direct hit. Given, what a piece of fielding. Coming back for 2. Laurie Evans is run out by the young man on debut.
And we have a man down as well. Oh dear. I can't see who it is on the floor, but they are in some pain. Physio is on. Is it Anderson?
No, it's number 4.
It's Blatherwick.
I think.
Blatherwick's on the canvas here.
I think it's the ricochet off the stumps.
Yeah, he was smashing the ground with his hand as well. We hope he's okay.
First a look at the piece of fielding. Curran hits it into the outfield, and what we don't see here is Moores picks the ball up from the deep. It's a direct hit. Had to be a direct hit. But a really, really painful blow for Blatherwick.
The good news is, if there is good news, is that I think that might have hit him on the knee, and that can be horrendous for about a minute, and then much better than it could have been.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of hand in there as well. He's up on his haunches anyway. As you say, first point to make. What a piece of work from the 17-year-old. It's a bullet throw. Hopefully we can bring you a better angle to fully appreciate how good that was. It looked like 2 all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. Needed to be a direct hit to trouble Evans. And what a moment for young Joe Moores. On debut, a reminder if you're just joining us, he today became Lancashire's youngest ever player in the Vitality Blast, aged 17 years and 249 days.
Meanwhile, Jack Blatherwick, what a night he's having.
It's like Bruno Fernandes, isn't it? I mean, he just goes down, gets the free kick or penalty, and then he's up, he's fine. I mean, yes, that would have been, if you get hit on the knee or the elbow, it is horrendous, isn't it? For about 30 seconds to a minute, you're like in a lot of pain. But I'm glad it is that, rather than if it was, it could have been anything off the, to be that close, and especially when you're potentially getting your hands close to the stump, you know, that could be a facial injury at pace.
New man in the middle, Tom Curran, joining his brother at the other end. Tom recently played in the PSL for the Quetta Gladiators. In at number 7, he's turned himself into a really fine all-rounder, more than capable of batting in the top 5 or 6. Down at 7 today.
He's still not right, is Blatherwick. He wants to continue, he wants to finish off his over here though. He's just trying to stretch out that left knee. He's going to muscle on through here.
Blatherwick around the wicket to Sam Curran. He's going to have to bowl that one again, which is not necessarily what he's going to want, given the pain he's currently enduring. Here's another look at that run out.
So just that slight hesitation from Evans initially on the first run. He looks fine though, he looks comfortable. Look at that, what a piece of work. Ran out quite comfortably in the end, a good yard and a half.
One run brings Tom Curran on strike for the first time. Dab into leg side. Brief thought of 2, but I think potentially after Moore's piece of work early in the over, they didn't want to go for that. 155 for 5 after 16.
So I'm with some of our young fans here at the Kia Oval. Only 4 overs to go, guys. What are we going to say? Come on, yeah!
Loving the energy out of the crowd this evening.
There's been a suggestion that we should swap roles. Perhaps something in that.
I'd love to see you try. Anyway, Saqib Mahmood back into the attack from the Vauxhall end.
Yeah, good move. I like this.
So good at the death. Seen it time and time again in white ball cricket over the years. We saw him bowl primarily back for length early on. Let's see how he goes at the death.
Yeah, so you would think that he would get through his 2 from the Vauxhall end, and then it's 1 from Sir Jimmy, you would assume, and then for my money, 1 more from Chris Green, although perhaps if Sam Curran is still in and you're bowling the off-break bowler from that end, from the pavilion end, you might be asking for trouble, but he's bowled very well, 3 overs for 18. All from that end. That would be my guess. We shall see.
I think if Chris Green does bowl from that end, I think he'll bowl very full to Sam to try and get him off strike, and then try and allow Tom, who's only just come in, to try and hit into the leg side there with the longer boundary. But I mean, you can see on that Archbishop Tennyson side, if you get anything to get underneath it, you don't need as much of it. And he's a very experienced bowler.
2 dot balls to start from Saqib Mahmood. Just tinkering with his field, asking deep fine leg to go a touch wider. Playing a miss from Tom Curran. And now 3 dots in a row.
Yeah, Curran, polite inquiry to the umpire about that one, but he did shuffle across his crease, so probably a fair shout.
Full and straight from Saqib Mahmood. Really good piece of bowling this from Mahmood.
4 in a row, Yas. Superb at this stage. Massive, really.
Yeah, against a player in Tom Curran who's so good himself during this period of an innings with both ball and bat.
Yeah. Lancs have done this really well. Take that point after 9 and a bit overs. Surrey going swimmingly. They've bossed the second half of this innings up until now.
Full toss. 4-6. Extraordinary shot from Tom Curran. It's a wide full toss from Saqib Mahmood. And Tom Curran has carved that over deep backward point for 6.
Little brother liked it as well. He scampered down the track.
What a shot.
Was that an uppercut, Phil? Well, it's beautifully played. He's used the pace well. He's come across it nicely, and that's cleared with some ease as well to the biggest part of the boundary.
We've seen some big ones tonight.
Interesting over this. 4 dots, then a 6. I feel like this is a very important delivery with 3 overs remaining after this one. Full straight to the man at mid-off. It's a single, and Lancashire will very much take that over. Just 7 from it. 3 overs remain. Sorry, 157 for 5.
Yeah, and Curran T on strike to start the 18th over. And so perhaps they may, in fact, they are going to stick with the seamer.
Yeah, interesting. It looks like Coughlin
is
going to bowl his 4th. Not necessarily the way I thought they were going to go, given that we've got 1 over left of Anderson, 1 over left of Mahmood, and 1 over left of Chris Green, the Premier Overseas, who's gone really well tonight, but at least one of those guys will not be bowling their full quota of overs.
I think this is a surprise and a bonus for Surrey. I would prefer Coughlin to bowl ahead of Green. I think it could be a 15 over.
Hit hard towards the leg side, and there'll be 4 perfectly in the gap between long on and deep mid wicket, and 2 boundaries and 3 balls now for Tom Curran, who's up and running.
He's been the most expensive of the bowlers tonight, and I think by hitting that length, I mean, even if Tom Curran gets off strike, I think you've got an in batter in Sam Curran at the other end taking on a smaller boundary, and you'd fancy that 2 out of 4 he might get under.
Pace on this time. Another really good shot from Curran, but well fielded on the boundary. Cuts off the 4, but still 2 runs. Good start to the over this from Surrey, 6 off 2. Keep an eye on the cut-off time as well. Just 6 minutes away. 8 deliveries to bowl for the final over. Reasonably high full toss down the leg side. Curran will pick up 4. Loose from Coughlin. He's asking the question about the no ball.
Yeah, it's It was a gamble by Keaton Jennings to bring back Paul Coghlan on his Lancashire debut. Got some tap in his first 3. I'm afraid to say it's more of the same.
You can see why both Curran brothers were asking the question. It's like a marginal call. It's gone Lancashire's way, but either way, 10 off the first 3. Well bowled. Well executed Yorker, but Curran is able to just turn into the offside for 1.
Well played as well. I mean, that's he's done well. It's very easy to dig that straight back to the bowler, but he's created the single. He's got Sam on strike, who has a free licence with only 14 balls left.
Yeah, just a reminder of the cut-off time. 8 deliveries need to be bowled in that time before Lancashire start that final over. That'll be 1. And yeah, if they miss that cut-off time, then they'll need to bring an extra fielder inside the inner 30-yard circle, which means they'll have less boundary protection. 12 off the first 5 deliveries of the over. How can Coghlan finish?
Got to
here?
go block hole again. Tries
it and drilled down the ground. That'll be 4. Expensive over, 16 from it. Curran, after taking a few balls to get his eye in, he's now 23 off 12, and that's an expensive spell from Paul Coghlan on Lancashire T20 debut. 1 for 56 from his 4, and you wonder, with the superstar options that Keaton Jennings has at his disposal, if they could have got Green or Mahmood or Anderson in the game a little bit earlier.
It's a surprising choice, isn't it? I mean, he's gone for 56 off his 4, and you know, the next highest is like 32, 33, isn't it? So, you know, a bonus for Surrey.
One thing I would add on Anderson, he did walk off a few overs back at the fall of a wicket, and I can't see him across this field, so that would explain why he hasn't received the ball for the final couple. He would have surely bowled out. Still one to go for him. So perhaps Chris Green bowls the last. We shall see. It's going to be Sat Mahmood anyway from this end to see us out.
Yeah, well spotted. But the case of the walking wounded at the moment with Lancashire. Mahmood getting a bit of treatment before the start of this over. So he'll bowl the penultimate one from the Vauxhall end. Sam Curran, 4 fielders out on the leg side, 4 fielders in the ring on the offside. Down the leg side, try and get something on it and pick up 2. Ali, at the start of the game you said somewhere around 180, 200, and it looks like we're going to get there, but perhaps not in the way we thought.
Yeah, I think Surrey have had chances. There's a number of batsmen, in particular the top 3 or 4, have all got in, or the top 3 certainly have got in to get chances to go bigger. I think they're going to be around about a par score. If they can get up to 190, 195, you know, I think they've got a marginal advantage.
Pace off and pulled hard for 4 from Sam Curran. Really good piece of placement from the Surrey skipper. There's protection there on the leg side boundary, but he's played that shot with power and control, and Surrey really regaining momentum over the last couple of overs.
Curran brothers really have put some momentum into this, haven't they, and got them back up to you know, a good base, you know, with 10 overs, 10 balls left, sorry, you know, still 200 within reach.
Short and very slow, and Mahmood's going to have to bowl that one again. Too short for the umpire's liking. Yeah, it's amazing how quickly they've turned this around. Across the last 10 deliveries, they've added 30 runs to the total.
partnership of 33 from just 16 balls. Tom Curran dominant, 23 of them.
Curran looked to give himself a little bit of room, but Mahmood followed him.
Yeah, good bit of bowling that.
He's been impressive today, Mahmood.
He has.
First game in a long time.
I think, to be fair, Lancashire are being very disciplined with their bowling. If you take out the 56 that Paul Coughlin's gone for, I think they've been pretty good. They've hit good areas. I think they've stuck to their disciplines and hit good lines on what is fundamentally a good wicket with a quick outfield.
Another wide from Mahmood. He's pleading with the umpire. Mahmood might argue that Tom Curran stepped across towards the offside.
I think that's a fair call myself.
From Mahmood or the umpire?
From the umpire.
I'm with the umpire on that. I think that's you can't have everything go your way. He hasn't stepped massively outside off stump, and he's fired it a lot further out there.
The thinking is sound though, with a deep third and a backward point on boundary as well.
Full and straight. Shot at the stumps and gone. Excellent piece of work by Hurst behind the stumps. Sam Curran trying to pinch a single, but in the end he's going to have to depart for a well-made 32. Really important innings. Surrey undergoing actually quite a considerable wobble just after the halfway point in the innings. It's a good bit of bowling again from Mahmood. Yorker tailing in to the right-handed Tom Curran.
One thing to add, they are now going to miss that cut-off point. You would fancy just a minute to go. 2 balls still to bowl, and Jordan Clark is making his way to the middle.
Yeah, keep an eye on the umpires here, because sometimes there's a last-minute allowance and a bit of flexibility given to the fielding side. But as Phil says, we've hit.
So we'll be telling you about the time.
And here we are. This is the conversation between the umpires and the Lancashire skipper.
Time, gentlemen, please.
So they will need to bring an extra fielder inside the circle, and as a result, they will have less boundary protection than they would otherwise want to have in this final period of the innings. So 5 men in the ring, 4 men on the boundary.
Yeah, Jack Shantry, the umpire, great character, just pointing at his watch.
Oh, and a slight misfield from the skipper Jennings, an extra cover. It was hit hard by Jordan Clark, but it's another boundary, and despite the wicket of Sam Curran, it's a very, very good over for the home side.
It's the one area they haven't actually fielded well in, isn't it? They've had 2 direct hits for the run-outs. It's a couple of very good catches, and I think they probably leaked about 10 runs through extra cover, I think, which could prove crucial in the end.
Mahmood to bowl the final ball of his spell. Not a wide on this occasion, and this time it's Jordan Clark who's displaying some disapproval with the decision. It ends Saqib Mahmood's spell. 4 overs for 33, but expensive final one. 13 runs from it, which means that Surrey are 186 for 6 with an over remaining.
Good to see him back though. He's a really exciting, charismatic fast bowler, Saqib Mahmood. So yeah, it is going to be Chris Green. That's the best figures of the day. And with the dismissal of Sam Curran, it probably makes this decision a no-brainer as well. Getting rid of the left-hander against that short boundary. Bowls a lot at the death for Lancs.
Going to take a stab at the last over bingo. I'm going to go for 10. How about you?
Or maybe slightly more than that. I reckon the right-handers are going to target the short side with no protection. I think they'll look to give themselves a bit of room, manufacture a bit of width if possible. Fired in by Green first up, and Tom Curran beats the man at short fine leg. and it's a boundary. Not a lot wrong with that delivery from Green. A really good piece of batting from Tom Curran, who's been on fire in his last 10 minutes.
Strong wrists to get some real power into that. He's batting beautifully here. Strike rate just a tick under 200.
It's a conversation between Green and the umpire here.
He's got to target that leg stump as well. Only the 4 men out. Everyone in on the 1. Oh, the deep mid off on the offside.
Green just taking his time. Ooh, the bluff from Green. It's probably not the ball that Curran was expecting at all, with the minimal boundary protection on the offside. Brave delivery from Green, and he's rewarded for that courage. Fired in and hit hard and straight, and 6 from Curran. It's another brilliant shot.
That's an extraordinary
from the
shot.
Surrey all-rounder. I wonder, do we have another catch in the crowd? Another Kia catch?
That really is a remarkable shot, because there's very little wrong with that delivery. It's just about where he was after. It is as well. 2 in 2.
Hit hard. And over the long off boundary for 6 more. So 200 up. What a gem of a knock this is from Tom Curran. Now 39 off 17. 16 runs hit off the first 4 balls of this over.
The shovel against the block hole delivery, and then the back foot punch over extra cover for 6. Pure filth from Tom Curran. 39 now. 200 up, couple of balls to go.
Fired wide, no ball.
4 more.
And it's 4 more. That's going to really hurt Lancashire. No ball from Chris Green. Called decisively and early by the umpire. I think it's a back foot no ball,
It is, yes, it's exactly that. This is proven to be a disaster final over.
So he's going to have to bowl it again.
Curran 7 away from what will be a lightning fast 50.
Drilled down the ground, but straight to long on, and Tom Curran, the way he's hitting the ball, says no, I'm having the final one. So yeah, 21 runs off this over already, 1 delivery remaining. Green takes his time again. Full toss, hit hard from Tom Curran into the gap. Over the boundary for 6. He finishes on 49 not out off just 20 deliveries to get Surrey up to 213 for 6. What a knock, Ali Brown, from Tom Curran.
Well, massive. I think we were talking about, could this be a 190, 195, which would have been around about par, but I think Tom Curran's innings there, I mean, especially the last over, 3 sixes in it, very impressive. Has really swung the momentum Surrey's way. I think they'd be very happy with 213. They got there in fits and starts, but I think the Currans put together a fantastic partnership. They rebuilt with 5 or 6 overs to go, and to get to where they got to was very impressive. Lancashire missed their timings, had to put 1 more fielder in the inner circle, and of course a spinner to bowl the last over due to Jimmy Anderson not being on the field has led to Surrey being in a phenomenal position. 213, I would say. I'd describe that as 15, probably 20 over par. I think they're in a good position.
Yeah, rapid start from Jason Roy, but Surrey had a little wobble after the halfway point. In fact, after 14 overs, they were 122 for 4. Had a 4 over period where they couldn't really rescue the momentum at all, and then a final flourish from the Curran brothers. First Sam Curran 32 off 22, and then sensationally Tom Curran 49 off 20.
Yeah, 56 Yas from the final 3. 13, 16 and then 27 from that final over. So there is the game right there.
Yeah, Mahmood, none for 33. Anderson, 1 for 23. Didn't complete his spell because he went off the field towards the end of the Lancashire innings. Chris Green was very impressive until that final over. But in the end, he was 1 for 45 of his 4 overs. But yeah, Lancashire, 214 to win. We'll be back with the second innings in 10 or so minutes. But before then, we'll go to Stuart Holdham, who's hosting the Kia High Catch competition, where 2 groups of kids are trying to catch tennis balls fired from high up in the JM Finn stand.
So you join us on the pitch here for the Kia High Catch Challenge. And we've got 2 teams here. We've got a couple of squid over to my left-hand side. Tell everyone your name.
Ed.
Ed, where you from?
Clapham.
Ed from Clapham. And then we have?
James.
From where?
Watford.
James from Watford. And we've got Dean over here. Dean, who unfortunately missed the catch for £1,000 over here. So we got Dean and your friend.
I'm Guy from Stratford-upon-Avon.
Guy from Stratford, where are you from, Dean?
Nottingham.
From Nottingham. So, we've had a little, we've flipped a coin out the back, and it does mean the squid go first. You will have 3 balls to catch coming from our ball machine at the top there. The team that catches the most wins the prize. So first up, it's Ed. Get yourself in position over there. Come on, let's hear it for Ed. Squid number 1. Are you ready? Here it goes. It's up. Oh! Well caught. Right. Throw it away. Throw it away. Second ball for Ed. Oh, it's a high one. It's a high one. Oh, he's caught it. Third one for Ed. Oh! 2 out of 3. Well done, Ed. Right, James. You're up, James. You're up. Can he follow? 2 caught by Ed. Can James get the hat trick? It's a high. Oh! Another one for James. Get right underneath it. Underneath it. He's got it. Your last ball. Oh! 3 to beat. Dean. Dean, take your position, Dean. Go on, cowboy. Here we go. Can Dean redeem himself for dropping? Here it goes. It's a high one. It's a high one. Oh! Up you get, Dean. 3 to beat. You've got to catch. Here it is. He's got it. Another one for Dean. Go on, Dean. Oh, oh, oh. Oh! Just the one for Dean. Okay. Guy, you've got to catch. Guy, you've got to catch all 3 to win, or 2 to go level. Okay. Go on, Guy. Go on, Guy. Oh, oh, oh. Oof. This, the next 2, and you level it up. That's it. Go on, go on, go on, go on. Oh. Last one for Guy. Go on, Guy. Get this one, get this. Oh! The squids have it. Let's hear it for Ed and James. There you go. Couple of caps.
Very good.
There we are. There we are. There's
Yes, thank you.
Sorry, that's a wrap from here. Back to you, Tony.
Welcome back to the Kia Oval. High octane first 20 overs of the 2026 Vitality Blast here at the Oval. Lancashire chasing 214. And a question in from one of our viewers, Daisy asks,
the great Daisy.
What's going on with the format this year? It's a really good question. So, Surrey are playing Lancashire for the first time ever in a Vitality Blast group stage game. So previously you had a North and South group with 9 teams in them, and you play 14 games across the group stage, 7 at home, 7 away. This season we have 3 groups of 6, and you play everyone home and away. That takes you up to 10 games, but there are 12 games in total in the group stage, so you play 1 team at home from one of the other groups and 1 team away from the other group. That is why Lancashire are playing in South London for the first time in the group stage. A very good question, and one we probably should have addressed earlier on, but hey ho.
21 years ago, wasn't it? When, because we lost to Lancashire in 2005 in the semi-finals. Here, when it was, I think Somerset won it that year.
Yeah, I think this is the 4th time that the two sides have met in the Blast. As we said, first time in the group stage. Anyway, Reece Topley with the new ball to Keaton Jennings. Oh, what a catch! First ball, Jason Roy diving to his right. What a beauty! Oh, the crowd have loved that. His teammates love it. Jason Roy, he's loving it. What a start to the second innings.
Well, you know, I don't think you can find words to describe that. That is just simply, I mean, everything about it. The catch is behind him. It's right up there with his batting. Oh. And you can tell from that celebration he likes all of that. That is world class.
It's one of those you're scampering off after 20 overs. Show it me.
Oh, what a celebration as well. What a celebration. Reece Topley, he loves it. Jason Roy, well, we were saying earlier, he was seeing it well with the bat. He's clearly seeing it well out in the field as well, because that has flown to him. Flash from Jennings. It's gone really fast to Jason Roy's right. Taking a brilliant catch.
That's about as good as it gets.
And now Lancs chasing 214, and already their skipper and leading run scorer last season back in the hutch. Matty Hurst, the new man in the middle, really talented, 22 years old. A breakout summer a couple of years ago in 2024. Standout innings in the 100, 78 from the top of the order for Manchester Originals.
Yeah, he's just plateaued a bit since, hasn't he? He's a player I like a lot. England Lions recognise him as well. He was on tour with the Lions this winter. Very, very, very fine young player, but the numbers aren't there for him yet, and he hasn't really kicked on in the shortest form since that knock that Yas mentioned. Made 78 early on in his Originals career. But yeah, his numbers are unremarkable, and he's moved up and down the order a lot as well for Lancs. And I wonder if this is where they see him going forward now at first drop.
Yeah, it's really notable actually, looking at his career numbers, just how much he's moved up and down the order.
Yeah.
From 1 to 6. Oh, huge appeal for LBW given. Topley's got 2 early on. Hurst shuffled across his stumps, and Topley gains the ball to shape in. Has his second, just 4 deliveries in to the Lancashire run chase.
Certainly looked like the stumps were going to be taken. I think it was a question of where the ball pitched, but yeah, quite right. He did go across his stumps, and live it looked like it was going to be very close.
Yeah, it's a really garbled decision by Matty Hurst, because you are opening up all 3, and the left armer in the first over is always going to be looking for that delivery back into the right-hander. So it's a huge risk. You're playing with a quarter of a bat, trying to play it behind square on the leg side to a bowler who's bowling stump to stump with a bit of in-duck into them.
It's really striking.
He's been really he's been really struggling this year. He's not made a 50 in first-class cricket, Matty Hurst, and To me, that looks like a player who's just second-guessing himself.
Yeah, if we take a look at the replay here, he gets so far across his stumps that, you know, that left arm seamer's delivery into the right-hander swinging in. You think that when he gets a right-hander LBW that it really has to swing, but it almost didn't because of just how far across Hurst got on that occasion.
Well,
to be fair, it was plumb,
yes.
wasn't it? I mean, it was taking out the bottom and middle and off.
Yeah.
So he got that far across, didn't he? And you know, pitched online and took them all out. Very easy decision to make.
Surrey on the attack now. Topley bowling to McDermott. 2 slips in place. That's a lovely shot. McDermott and Lancashire up and running. McDermott, the Aussie overseas, one of 3 Lancashire T20 debutants today.
So, crumbs of comfort for Lancs. McDermott is a top-order player by trade. He's opened a lot in 20-over cricket. Bats in the top 3 generally. And so he won't be uneasy against the swinging ball. But who'd have thought this? 4 for 2 in the first over. Just want to say on Reece Topley, Yas, it's really good to see him bounding in. He's come back into 4-day cricket this year. He's had a couple of games where he's shown glimpses, trying to get back to full fitness. Some miles in the legs. It's a great start for him. This is probably his best format now at this stage of his career. He's a star player and a fit Reece Topley with a white ball is a real top-class proposition. It's really, really good to see him now. Looks like he's enjoying his cricket again.
Yep, absolutely. And then someone else who's enjoying his cricket at the moment, Tom Curran. He's going to open up from the Vauxhall end. He was arguably a standout performer with the bat in the first half of this game. Brilliant cameo at the end. 49 of just 20 deliveries.
I guess Lancashire, while they can't go carry here, they can't play passive cricket either because 209 still required. Can't afford to absorb a couple of overs and regroup. You've got to keep coming hard. There's no other way here. Jason Roy, look at that, if we can catch it. Look where he's standing. He's at second slip, you can't get enough of it.
Oh, brilliant piece of fielding at short fine leg by Ollie Pope. Yeah, also we flagged it at the start of the game as well. It's quite a long tail that Lancashire have today. Chris Green carded to come in at number 6. It's probably a position or 2 higher than you normally see him on the T20 circuit. We've got young Joe Moores, their youngest ever T20 player, carded to come in at number 5. And then the seamers beneath Green.
It's worth pointing out, Phil Salt not available. IPL, Liam Livingston not available. Joss Butler rarely available.
Oh, that's a beauty from Tom Curran. Jones finally facing his first delivery. Squared up by that one. Yeah, a few more too. Mitch Stanley playing for the England Lions this week. Luke Wells is injured. Luke Woods over in the IPL too. So Lancashire missing almost more than half an 11 there of players you'd expect to see.
Jugular by Surrey, 2 slips. And a gully in there as well, a deep gully.
Jones uses his feet. Gets it away. It's the longer side of the ground, and that'll be 2.
To be fair, he wants to use his feet. I mean, that was a fast leg break that that Tom Curran bowled the previous ball, and you know you've got to try and take him off that length. That was a superb delivery.
Tom Curran just tinkering with the field. Fallen a bit of away movement again. Just pushed into the offside for 1.
Tidily played actually, because as you say, appreciable movement. Doesn't overhit it. Goes with the swing.
That late flourish from, sorry, what did you say? It was 56 from the final 3 overs.
Yep.
That has totally changed the dynamic of this run chase. They were looking at a score closer to 175, 180 before that final flourish. Curran tinkering with his field again, just asking cover to come in a little bit tighter. That'll be 4, unconvincing inside edge from McDermott, but it's a much needed boundary for Lancashire. 8 runs from the over, Lancashire 13 for 2.
So we're here with Richard, who caught the ball as well. That's another £1,000, courtesy of Kia. Talk us through it.
It was quite nice. It was nice and loopy. Wasn't too hard, wasn't too flat. So yeah, just managed to see it pretty early and just got in position. And made sure it didn't hit him, which is the biggest thing.
So Joshy, I think, is it a takeaway on the way home?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe a KFC.
Enjoy the rest.
That is lovely. Takeaway on the way home to celebrate. Our second Kia High Catch winner of the day, and the first with an English accent.
They're on it out here. Reece Topley's now followed through and done a full circle round an imaginary mid-wicket. And he's got the full swagger on as he ambles back to his mark.
Well, why wouldn't you be? I mean,
well,
the game was in the balance for 17 overs, wasn't it? And the last 5 overs, I think Surrey have really put their foot on the throat, haven't they? It's been a very impressive 5 overs for Surrey.
I think this competition is so important for this club now. They know a club with this heritage and resources and depth to have only won it once. Not as many as they would have expected. It's become a bit of an obsession, I think, round here.
Yeah, famously, Surrey haven't lifted the title since the very first edition all the way back in 2003. They were brilliant last year, actually, for long portions of the competition. Won 11 of their 14 group stage games. McDermott, what a shot that is. We've seen some brilliant displays of stroke making today. That's right up there with the very best. McDermott getting down, using the pace of delivery and clearing not just fine leg but the fine leg boundary.
You've got to say he must have a phenomenal dentist, because I mean, that is a very good shot. I know he's played that quite a few times and often opens the batting, but yeah, I think he thought that might just come inside him and it sort of followed him, but he's kept his eye on it, played it really well.
Fine leg goes back. Front foot no ball this time from Topley, so he'll have to bowl that again. And will also be a free hit to Lancashire. Yeah, going back to Surrey's campaign last year, 11 wins from 14 in the group stage, got themselves a home quarter-final against Northants, and then came up against Ravi Bopara at his very, very best. Extraordinary 100 in what turned out to be his penultimate game of professional cricket in England. Free hit, Topley to McDermott. It's a good Yorker, and it's a dot ball. And it was also a rain-reduced game, so the rhythms of the match weren't quite what everyone was used to. Despite that extraordinary innings from Bopara, they weren't miles off from winning that. Previous season they got to finals day, only to fall to Somerset in the semi-final. So they've come close in the last few years. It's not really been the group stage that's been the issue. It's been after that. Tucks McDermott for room.
Yeah, similar story as well for Lancashire. 10 finals day appearances for just that one title in 2015. Last year, semi-finalists. probably pound for pound since the advent of one-day cricket in this country, the most successful county in limited overs. I was going to say white ball cricket, but of course it was red for many, many, many years. But yeah, flattered to deceive in this tournament, really. Both of these powerhouse clubs.
Yeah, it's amazing to think at the end of the over, Lancashire 23 for 2. It's amazing to think that between these two clubs, they only have 2 Blast titles between them. One thing I'm really interested to look out for this season is how the different groups fare against each other in the games they come across each other, because if you look at the history of the Blast, Lancashire actually have the best win-loss ratio of any team, but as you say, they've only ever lost 1. And in the last 5 years, the Blast has been won by a team from the South Group every single time. So I wonder if there's been certainly in the recent past, a slight difference in standard between the top of the South Group and the top of the North Group.
Yeah, I did not know that stat. That's interesting. Hampshire and Somerset been key teams, of course, the last few years. We could forget that Gloucestershire win as well.
Oh, brilliant shot from Jones. Uses his feet, clears one off, and picks up 4. Not the first time he's looked to use his feet against Tom Curran.
The thing is, you look at this Surrey side and you think they are potential winners. I mean, I know Somerset have been exceptionally good over the last few years and potential likely favourites, but you do look at what Surrey could produce if getting to finals day, and you think that they would be as strong as anyone, but it hasn't happened in the last few years, but there's no reason why it can't this year.
I think the real issue, not just for Surrey, but some of the other teams at the top of the tables in the last few years, is just the almost inconsistency of when the knockouts take place, often taking place months after the majority of the competition takes place. So you have potentially vastly different availability. Often finals day has clashed with England white ball series. So at this point of the summer, Surrey are without a few England players, but those are predominantly test cricketers. Drilled down the ground, Tom Curran gets a left boot on it, and then Sam Curran uses his right boot to pick the ball up.
I think it's that lottery of the players that you get, don't you? The ECB, who they allow to play, and at various times. And Surrey sit in that position, don't they? With a lot of players that they can play for England, IPL, or various other positions, and you know that can sometimes weaken their chances. But there's still a lot of strength and depth within the squad.
This is it. The core of this team will play across the whole of the season.
Caught Curran, bowled Curran. McDermott goes for 12. Tom Curran, who's so good with the bat, 49 off 20, picks up an early wicket. And Lancashire in disarray, 28 for 3.
Yeah, trying to make a play, wasn't really there for the shot. He looked the most likely tonight for Lancashire, Ben McDermott, and you feel with that wicket, any slight chance they can pull a rabbit out of the hat goes with him. 3 down already inside 5 overs. It's a mess.
He tried to force it, didn't he? But I mean, that's because of the sort of onslaught at the end of the Surrey innings and putting that game that they need over 11 and over, and they can't just rebuild after those 2 early wickets. They have to keep pressing on and trying to get that run rate down.
And a special moment this for young Joe Moores, just 17 years and 249 days old, Lancashire's youngest ever player in the T20 Blast, breaking the record previously set by one of his teammates tonight, Saqib Mahmood, who was 18 when he first took the field in a Blast game. James Anderson had taken 242 international wickets by the time young Joe Moores was born. There's a lot of excitement around this young player. Played in the One Day Cup last year, opened the batting for England at the Under-19 World Cup over the winter.
Yeah, he showed glimpses, didn't he, in that World Cup, and he had a very, very good 81 against Scotland. Easy on the eye.
And Tom Curran tests him out with a bumper first up. Welcome to the Blast.
Yeah, it's a tall order for him. In at 5 here, staring down the barrel. But it's interesting from that squad. Often you don't see the under-19s come through for a year or two, but you're seeing Dawkins at Kent, Mays at Hampshire.
He's playing for the Lions this week.
Yeah, Moore's here. Morgan with the ball at Middlesex.
That's a lovely shot. Timed beautifully, just a punch past cover. And those are Moore's first runs in professional T20 cricket.
Well, lovely shot. Played on the top of the bounce. Very good. I mean, you felt that Tom Curran might welcome him with something short, like this is men's cricket, but he's dealt with that really well, and I thought that's a lovely shot to get off the mark with.
And Tom Rue as well, of course, who's skippered the side. He's already being talked about as a future England player. Ooh.
Yep, Caleb Faulkner as well, who scored 100 in the Under-19 World Cup final. You can hear Phil giggling.
Sorry, I just tripped up over Georgie Heath's foot. She was just grabbing her laptop from the afternoon game.
Sean Abbott into the attack for the first time this evening.
Questionable spatial awareness on my part there, Georgie.
It's a very exciting cohort of under-19 players. A lot of them with first-team experience before that tournament. Farhan Ahmed as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Manny Lumsden in Hampshire. James Minto at Durham.
It's one of the perhaps unintended consequences of the One Day Cup, I suppose, that a lot of these younger players come through into professional cricket a bit quicker than they would have done in the past.
That's no bad thing, though.
No, indeed.
I think that should happen more, to be fair. I mean, I didn't actually make my first class debut until I was 22.
Oh, wow.
So I felt that I could have potentially made that a year or two earlier. I was playing one-day cricket before then, but I'm all for players playing as early as possible.
Slip at the striker's end from Moores means that it's just one.
Yeah, for all his potential, to have a 17-year-old coming in at number 5 really does illustrate how depleted this Lightning lineup is.
Oh,
I say that.
What a shot. Joe Moores nailed into the stands. 4 deliveries into his professional T20 career. And he's just picked up an Australia international for 6 miles over the mid-wicket boundary.
So I was going to say that when I watched him in the World Cup, there were little echoes of Jacob Bethel.
I was just going to say.
Bat sponsor, setup, slightly open stance, the cocked wrists.
Oh, he goes again. Targets the leg side boundary and clears it once more. 2 sixes from 5 deliveries from young Joe Moores.
Well, a star is born in front of us right here. How about that? Put down in the crowd, unfortunately. Someone's fluffed their lines, I hate to say. Joe Moores hasn't.
There's not a lot wrong with that delivery. You wouldn't say that's in the slot. You wouldn't say it's particularly short.
It's the bat speed, yes. That's what it is. Well, well.
Oh, gone. It's a really good catch by Ollie Pope. But Joe Moores has to go. He was only at the crease for 6 deliveries. But what a fun 6 deliveries they were. Lancashire now 45 for 4.
I think Ollie Pope's trying to make that look like the Jason Roy catch, but you know, it's a good catch all the same. But you know, there's a player that I think we'll be talking about over the next few years. To see a 17-year-old actually just play in that manner with that level of confidence is something that you'd love to see, isn't it?
Cricket's a brutal game, isn't it? Straight to the hands.
Did he even need to dive? I mean,
He did have to move. That wasn't directly straight at him. I think there's a collective disappointment in the commentary box because something very special has come to a premature end. Those were 2 shots of real high class against a bowler of international class in Sean Abbott.
I don't think not just to execute them, but just to take him on is what you love to see. And it's very easy to come in that young and just think, I'll just ease my way into it. But to actually take those on and play them so well in his arc was very impressive.
Yusuf Majid to bowl the final over of the power play. 22-year-old left-arm spinner. 3 blast appearances last summer. Regular in the one-day cup side for a few years now. And very nearly strikes first ball. Jones using his feet and only just clears the field at mid-on. Don't think Majid would mind that at all. Yeah, comes off the inside half of the bat. Doesn't get all of it. Chris Green, the new man in the middle. Currently the non-strikers then up at 6 today. Oh, what a catch! Yusuf Majid! Low and fast to his left. Drilled by Jones, who middled that one. And we saw a brilliant catch earlier on from Jason Roy. And that's right up there too from Yusuf Majid. And there's the 2 men there. Game acknowledging game. And Lancashire 5 down in the power play.
That is a very impressive catch. He's let it come. I like the way he's turned actually. It's that is it's one you stick a hand out to. It's been hit hard. And brilliant catch.
Yeah, big moment for Majid. Last year, Surrey had international superstar presence in their spin department. Adam Zampa and Mitchell Santner playing the majority of the campaign between them. But this season, Majid, given the opportunity to start the season in the side, strikes with the second, but wasn't far off striking with his first. And Lancashire now 49 for 5. Paul Coughlin, the new man in the middle at number 7.
Yeah, just a further illustration. 1 professional T20 50 for Chris Green. None, of course, for Joe Moores. He's just getting going. And 1 for Paul Coughlin. And that's your middle order engine room. Nothing they can do, of course, about those players who are unavailable. Feels like it's a club that's struggling to catch a break at the moment.
Yeah, it's been a feature of some Lancashire sides at the moment. We saw Rocky Flintoff make his debut here in the Championship at 16. Used his feet, and that'll be 4 from Coughlin. Off the mark, second ball.
Well, they get the run rate the same, haven't they? They're around about the right number, wickets disappearing fast. But they've got to keep going.
Yeah, I just go back to that Matty Hurst decision to walk right across his stumps against the left armour.
Oh, appeal. Majid's asking a question. That was hit hard.
Yeah, his foot's in, didn't leave his crease. Smart move, really.
And Majid.
Slightly nervous look from Chris Green, though.
Yeah.
I think he got a finger on it.
I think his foot, as Phil says, just back in time. Tossed up, but can't get it past Mid-off, end of the over, end of the power play. Lancashire 54 for 5.
Yeah, when you're chasing 200, north of 200, you need all the marginals to go your way. And for Lancashire, it's been a study in disaster, really. Those first two up front in that first over. So the run rate is okay. The run rate is equivalent, really, to Surrey, give or take. It's just 6 shy at the end of the power play in arrears. But it was that back end of Surrey's innings with the bat, 56 from those final 3 overs, that really changed the whole complexion of this cricket match. Put a bit of pep in their step on the way off. Threw the ball to Reece Topley. And the rest is all Surrey. 54 for 5. This game is all but done. They've looked really good out here, though. They've looked hungry for this.
Thick outside edge. They run away for 4. Green off the mark straight away.
Slightly surprising, actually, that there's not a slip in. They've been so aggressive through that opening 6. They would have gone straight into the Jason Roy's basket.
Yeah, I think your point is bang on, Phil. I think people might be really pleasantly surprised just how up for it this Surrey side are for the Blast. A lot of players with points to prove this summer. And a lot of players who've been here for a long time. Had a lot of success in other competitions, but yet to lift this trophy.
Yeah, that's it. And for all that this club of this size has to accept that England are going to tap you on the shoulder, and other hugely lucrative leagues around the world may take some of your talents. You run through that lineup, especially that top 6, 7, and you fancy that they're all going to play all of the games if needed. Injuries permitting and all the rest of it, but they will be available as a nucleus right to the end of this tournament.
Yeah, Sam Curran, probably the only member of that top 7 used today that you think will be away for England duty at some point this summer. Factor in that you've got Will Jacks to come back from the IPL too.
It's also come at a very good time for Surrey, I think. I mean, the championship hasn't gone quite as they would have wanted, with one winner loss and some draws in there. But I spoke to Tom Curran last year and asked him, what competition he wanted to win the most last year, and he said the T20. And I think that was because Sam was probably the captain, and like you said, a team that has not performed as well as you might have thought over the last few years for what they have. They certainly have a side that could win the competition, and you feel that they've got a great chance this year if they can get everyone on the park certainly throughout the group stage and the final stage, which is very important, obviously.
And I think part of their frustration will be that they have played some brilliant cricket. It's just they haven't been able to get over the line in those crunch knockout games, and often when availability has been difficult. That Northants game last year in the quarter-final was just a strange game of cricket. That just sometimes happens. A 14-over-side game, and you come across a special player in Ravi Bopara who hits 100 in a 14-over game from, I think, number 4 or 5. It was extraordinary innings from Bopara.
I think in that game, I think they thought they were over the line throughout it, and it wasn't the case of, whereas instead of going, let's get Ravi Bopara off strike, because he could potentially do something. I don't think anyone expected him to do what he did, but he played a fantastic innings. And before you know it, the momentum changed, and he played that match-winning innings.
And the over 7 runs from it. Lancashire 61 for 5.
Yeah, Lancashire had no choice here but to keep on swinging. Why not? Why not? It's an almost certain heavy defeat that they're staring at here, but prodding around doesn't get you anywhere either. It's far too early in the tournament to be thinking about net run rate and all of that stuff. But yeah, this has been frustrating for them because they scrapped hard for 3/4 and 4/5 of their fielding innings and pulled it back pretty well. They were very good in those middle overs.
Jordan Clark on for the first time tonight.
But when you do have, with all due respect, an inferior batting lineup to your opponents, and you're staring at a 200+ target, Those edges have to evade the fielders. Those marginal decisions have to go your way, and you have to have one or two players who have a real day out, and none of those things have played out for them here.
Yeah, to lose Jennings and Hurst within the first 4 deliveries of what was always going to be an incredibly difficult run chase was, made an already very difficult chance almost impossible.
To be fair, I can't remember a T20 game to see so many wickets of some brilliance, and I'm talking about two impressive run-outs, keeping one as well. Okay, it wasn't as good as the one from the boundary, but it was still very good with the gloves on. And then to see the sort of level of catching we've seen, I think Lancashire 2, Blatherwick had 2 fantastic catches in the D from the 2 we've seen from Surrey, as that goes into Archbishop
be out of the ground. Not quite. What a shot from Chris Green. Short from Clark. It's the shorter side of the ground. That's been nailed by the Aussie.
Yeah, he's a strong boy. Saw him warming up earlier. And he certainly has that in his locker. The problem that these two have is not necessarily the odd ball that they can bomb out the ground. It's working the gaps, the artistry of batting in between the big shots. The rate is just too high for them, and there's too much cricket to be played here. Still 144 needed.
To be fair, despite losing 5 wickets in the power play, they haven't let the required run rate totally spiral out of control. They've not yet let it exceed 2 runs a ball. But of course, an extraordinary amount of work remaining for Lancashire. Oh, that'll be 6 more. This time it's Coughlin. Hit so hard and flat into the crowd. Potentially down the stairs, actually. So let's see what the state of the ball is when it returns.
Yeah, one thing you can say is that there was no in the bleachers fieldsman there prepared to have a dart at that one. No, thank you.
I think that might have gone out of the ground, judging by reaction of the fans.
He's pumped. They still believe.
I think they're going to have to take a lot of their runs probably from this end, aren't they, and target that short side. Anything, you've got to mix your pace. At sometimes just keep it away from there, because anything on the stumps that's hitting length, I think you're going to have a swing at, and they have no other option but to do that. They can't let it get above 12, and if they lose another wicket or 2, I think it'll be up towards the 15s and 16s.
Well, they've managed to retrieve the original ball. The umpires had a look in the box and picked out a replacement one. But just as they're about to resume, the original was discovered.
Which, with a bit of luck, will reverse swing.
Another game going on north of the border, of course, at Lord's. Kent the visitors to Middlesex. 77 for 5, then 8 gone. And Joey Everson has been retired out towards the end of Kent's innings. He was on 5 from 12 balls, batting with his skipper, Sam Billings, who was going well at the other end by the looks of it. He ended up 84 not out. And clearly his skipper has said, I've had enough of you.
That's brilliant.
And he's given him a nudge, and he's cleared off, retired out, Joey Everson. Tom Rogers came in and slapped a 4. 6 from 3 to finish off the innings. So there you go.
I want to know exactly how Billings expressed the decision, because normally when that happens, it's the captain on the boundary and it's just a gesture, right? There are no words exchanged. Whereas if you're out there in the middle, you actually have to say something. And I don't know, what would you go for? Ali, what would you go for? If you're retiring out your partner at the other end, how are you expressing that?
Oh, well, I don't know. It may be that he said, "You know what? I'm just not feeling it today.
He might have,
get me off."
on his own sword.
I mean, I played a game up at Scarborough, and I got a decent score, but actually out-hit myself, if that makes sense, and then I suddenly started to just lose shape. And so you have times where sometimes you're overhitting, and you may well do that in T20. So, or maybe Sam just went up and said, I'm the captain, that's just not good enough, get off.
Yeah, it would be quite chivalrous of Joey to walk off, I think. It's not my day, Skip. I'm not sure. Maybe. We'll find out. We'll message Sam Billings later on and find out. But yeah, it never looks great on the card. Retired out.
Down the ground by Coughlin, and 6 more.
So a bit of spirit being shown here. Fair play to these two. It's the third 6 now. And the last over and a bit.
Yeah, and that required run rate has remained stubbornly between 11 and 12 runs and over for a while now. Long way back for Lancashire. They're fighting hard, and that'll help too. Round the corner for 4 more. Coughlin suddenly 22 off 12. Majid.
Just a bit predictable. Majid perhaps just driving it into the pitch time after time.
Yeah, I wonder actually in his run-up if he learned something from his teammate last year, Mitchell Santner. There's an ever so slight delay in his release on occasion.
Yeah, just hold it back a bit.
Fired in again. It's interesting actually watching Chris Green bowl, even though he tends to have his stop balls one that's a little bit fatter. He isn't shy of tossing the odd one up, almost just letting the batters know that is an option.
I think you don't want to become predictable. I think it's hard for a left-arm spinner who's potentially, I mean, I know he's a bit nigh and doshy in terms of he's trying to bring it into the stumps and give no room, but as you said, you've got a 45-yard boundary there, and certainly as a batsman, you're always thinking, can I just give myself a little bit of room, even if he's trying to slide it into leg stump, because that 45 yards, you know you can get that by 25, 30 yards if you need to.
Yeah, good little passage of play this for Lancashire. 29 runs from the last 2 overs. Innings run rate 10 per over so far. And they'll think 2 or 3 more overs like this, and it suddenly doesn't look too otherworldly. Reece Topley back on from the Vauxhall end. Just joining us, Topley started the second innings with a bang. 2 wickets in the first 4 deliveries. First out of the Lancashire captain, Keaton Jennings, via a remarkable catch from Jason Roy at first slip. And then he trapped Matty Hurst, LBW, third ball. Hit high and over Jason Roy, along on. It's dropped in the crowd. It's another 6 for Lancashire. It's another 6 for Paul Coughlin. And he's got a real spring in his step at the moment.
Yeah, bearing in mind the fielding we've seen, that's a particularly poor effort in the crowd. Didn't really get into position, threw the hands out as a token gesture. Had no interest in the ground, but Lancashire for their, they're throwing the darts. I don't think it's going to last, but it's certainly good at the moment.
Bit of extra pace from Topley. Beats Coughlin. And yeah, you felt that they've really targeted this side of the boundary. Most of the 6s coming that side. And that required run rate again. It's just around 11 runs and over. If you're wondering why we haven't seen Sam Curran with the ball yet, we understand that he's just playing as a batter at the moment. Well, this has gone very, very high. Sam Curran wants it. Oh, and doesn't quite get to it. He had a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, he just put his hand up to discourage any other on-rushing fielders, and I wonder if that just cost him half a second, a yard or so. Probably out of his reach. It would have been a screamer, obviously.
It may have been the floodlight, actually, Phil. When he puts his hand up,
yeah,
I think the fielder is far enough away. He's trying to block the light.
But quietly, slightly better over this for Surrey. Despite that 6 from Coughlin, 8 off the first 5 deliveries in the over. Just regaining a bit of control. Phil made the point that it's almost more about what happens between the boundaries. Another player miss. Pilfer caught behind. But it means that they're 8 runs from the over. Lancashire 98 for 5. They need 116 from the final 10 overs.
Reece Topley through 3 now, 2 for 22. He's been fabulous. Really good to see. Any successful T20 side needs a linchpin with the ball, and he provides that. He has that star quality as well under lights. Really as good a T20 bowler as England has. So it's going to be Curran in for his 3rd. Good figures. 1 for 11. Got to hurry. And that's what they need, these two big muscular hitters. They have to keep ticking. You can't bludgeon everything. 50 partnership up. Well played, these two, from 29 deliveries. If you saw it coming, it felt very, very bleak at 49 for 5. These two are showing some endeavour and a bit of spirit. Stranger things, 115 needed, halfway point. Driven tidily down the ground, but long off is in place. It's just a single.
Yeah, it brings 100 up, but it's a good 8-ball period this for Surrey. Haven't managed to break this partnership. But just one boundary in that time, and there's not been a lot aside from that boundary. It doesn't take a lot also for that asking rate to really climb. 11.79 runs per over now.
Yeah, well played into the onside. No point trying to take on those fieldsmen out towards the gas holders, because you're basically dicing with death. You're going to hole out sooner rather than later. So just tap it into the onside, keep things ticking. As Ali said, batting from the other end, from the pavilion end, you're liable to get more purchase. Mid-wicket in the game, Dan Lawrence does brilliantly to haul it in on the bounce. Superb work. Comes back for a couple. Yes, an illustration though. He's got a lot of that, as Paul Coughlin, but can't carry all the weight.
The thing is as well, the bigger boundaries as well, it makes you want to hit it flatter, because you know that there is jeopardy if you try and hit it in the air. Of course, if you take on the short boundary, you're not afraid to actually feel that you can, that boundary is within your grasp.
Toes it up to long off, runs hard. Green coming back, no, settles for 1. Did you ever launch it out of this ground, Ali? Well, let me rephrase it. How many times did you launch it out of this ground?
Well, I'm going to come up with an exact number. I don't know. I mean,
what's the biggest you hit here? It'll be in your mind somewhere.
Not really. I couldn't. I'll tell you what. Before they actually had the stand at this end, the old Vauxhall end used to go back about another 20 or 30 yards.
I remember.
And I think Foster at Essex were playing a championship game, and I was getting abused by Nasser Hussain at point, and we needed about I know it's wrong, but he was at point and shouting at me, and calling me a slogger, which is not, you know, didn't really affect me. And I ran down the wicket to Foster.
You had a bit of pace.
And I absolutely got all of it. And it hit the prefab buildings at this end on the full going up, to which Foster disappeared off the point and then was berating Nas. And we won. I think we won that game by 4 or 5 wickets. That was a 4-day game, but yeah, I don't think I can't remember all of them.
Just on the worm then, as you can see, 12 overs gone now. In fact, 11 overs gone, and Lancs are fine. If we go by the worm, by the comparison, Lancs are fine. It's that clump, those 2 clumps. Yeah, it looks like the central line down there.
What's that, central red and Bakerloo, is that brown?
There you go. We're losing our northern viewers one after the other.
We're also just getting to the point in the innings where Surrey themselves had a bit of a wobble, so it actually wouldn't take a lot for Lancashire to be ahead in a couple of overs' time.
Coming back for 2, long boundary. Easy pickings. Yeah, you're exactly right. There he has. 115 for 4. Surrey were in the 13th when Dan Lawrence went. So by that comparison, the Lightning aren't that far off at all. That is a waist-high full toss that's been bunted into the onside. The question is whether this is a no ball. Surely it is, yeah. Has to be, really. And so the boundary is prevented. It's a Pyrrhic victory because this will be a free hit for the right-hander out towards the short leg side boundary. How often, by the way, and I'm asking for trouble here, but how often does this tend to be an anticlimax after the no ball and the free hit comes? And how often is it just plinked into the onside for a single?
Or cuffed. It could be cuffed into the offside, couldn't it? One thing Surrey did have was £50,000, Foster's, to clear the clock.
Yes. Yes, I've read about this. So there you go, right up in the air. It doesn't matter in terms of the wicket. Jason Roy will pick it. The crowd are excited. Upshot, couple of runs.
As is the person in charge of the music here. Don't normally get...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you get music normally after a 2 into the deep.
That is towed. He could have left it, you know, and it would have been a wide, and he's got to go. Oh, it's a killer of a way to go. He's played nicely with great spirit as Paul Coughlin, but he has to walk, and that will hurt. If he'd had the mindset, if you like, just to let that one slide past, then I fancy that he would have received an extra for it. In the end, all he could do is tow it up to extra cover, simple catch, and 6 down.
Yeah, Phil's absolutely right. Had Coughlin left this alone, this would have been a wide.
Almost off the cut strip. He's bowled a few of these. Look like they're just coming out the back of the hand, coming into the right-hander. Saw it earlier as well. An extreme arm ball, perhaps even cutting his fingers down the right-hand side of the ball to get a little bit of almost leg spin. Jack Blatherwick, who's had an eventful evening. First over went the distance for 15, came back really strong, took 2 excellent catches and wore one on the inside of his right knee, ricocheting off the stumps after that direct hit. He's fine to bat, and indeed scamper between the sticks. He's off and running. You would say that Blatherwick, who hits a clean and long ball, will be Lancashire's last realistic hope of pulling off a minor miracle here. Cut away, right out of the meat. Excellent work by the kid. Adam Thomas out there at deep extra. Keeps down to a couple. 12 gone, 114 for 6.
We're with netball girls here. It is Izzy, and Izzy, it's your hen do. Quickly, where are you from?
Yorkshire.
And, who have you got with you? Who have you got with you?
All of my best friends, including my maid of honour, Anna.
And quickly, who's going to win?
Surrey!
Yeah!
Risky business, I think. Interviewing a hen do at this time of day. I think we got away with that one.
Yeah, it was close shave. So we've seen it a couple of times here. The left arm spinner definitely is looking to get a little bit of purchase back in to the right hander rather than the conventional. Oh, hello. That is clearing. What a shot that is. We said Jack Blatherwick can hit a mean ball. Well, there's the proof. A short arm jab of ultra violence. 7 off 2. He may not hang around all night, but it's going to be good fun watching it.
And a refusal in the crowd, I think. Yeah, option to take the £1,000 catch, but he's gone to the big side. He's got all of it, and he's cleared that quite comfortably.
Yeah, he's a big boy, Jack Blatherwick, and that is a big shot, a long boundary. On the bounce.
Yeah, interesting to see how Chris Green plays it now. Very much played second fiddle to Coughlin at the other end. That asking rate up above 12 even after that Blatherwick 6.
And again, slapped into the onside. Come back for a couple. They're still swinging for the hills here and keeping us on our toes. 91 needed.
Well, 12 is still manageable, isn't it? If you can get that down to the last 3 or 4 overs, but if you get up to the 14s, 15s, I think that's just beyond.
More runs again, mid-wicket in the game. Coming back for a second. Slight misfield. That's all you need. So, 11 from 4. And that will be more runs. That will run away. 4 more. Tempted bouncer. Got it up there. Just enough on it from Chris Green, and runs away for 4 more. Yeah, 15 from 5.
He's struggled for a while out here, hasn't he, Chris Green? He's been stretching for about the last 20, 25 minutes. I don't know whether it's a hamstring or cramp, or it's one of them.
Yeah. It was a good point that he had quite a long conversation with Paul Coughlin as Coughlin walked off, and I did wonder what would Green be saying to Coughlin.
More runs.
I mean, you hope it's cramp,
Keep
because
the strike.
26 degrees. it could easily be.
131 for 6.
So we're here with Tim. Tim, unfortunately, you were this close to getting £1,000 courtesy of Kia. What happened?
So I saw the ball coming. It came right up in the sky. I was there. And then he got in my way, bobbed it off, hit my net.
Next time, Tim.
There's a soap opera in the crowd now. I didn't see that coming. Bit of needle in the bleachers. It's all good stuff. The Hindu are having a marvellous time. They're on the edge of their seat. This one could go either way.
So no ball from Topley.
Yeah, it's careless.
Just every time you felt that required run rate was in danger of spiralling, Lancashire managed to pluck out a really good over. They had that last time round, and this time this over starts with a 2 and a no ball, so 3 runs on the ball, but before a legitimate delivery has been bowled.
There it is again, the anti-climax to the free hit.
I reckon the economy rate for free hits in this game has got to be under on the ball.
Got to keep believing though here. Again, copy and paste. Just losing his shape. Doesn't need to overhit through that offside.
You just
Plenty
feel
of space behind square. Just clear those infielders. He's been there to hit both balls.
I think that could be something to do with his hamstring, the way he's playing it. He doesn't look as fluent. He's a fit lad, Chris Green.
Good work. Really good hands, Tom Curran.
Fielding from both sides in this game, by and large, has been excellent. Brilliant catches from both sides. Sensational run out from the deep from Joe Moores, as well as the direct hit from Matty Hurst as well.
Seen 2 direct hits as well in the women's game this afternoon from Surrey fielders. Superb work. Yeah, it's been a good day out for the punters. And this one isn't yet dead, is it? 80 from 39. Who would have thought, really, at 49 for 5. So Topley pulling this back after that no ball first up. He's gone dot, dot, 1 dot.
Yeah, 4 off 4 so far this over. Required rate 12.63 now.
Have to find the boundary. At least one of these last 2. Trying to make a play, not happening. Yeah, Topley's been a class apart this evening. Last delivery then of Topley's spell. He's had a good night. Got to hurry. He makes it. Superb stuff. 2 for 27. Picked up 2 in the first 4 deliveries of the innings to essentially knock the Lightning back to a position where it was going to be next to impossible to haul this target in when you lose your 2 main players in that first over. Matty Hurst rather offered up his pads. It was a beauty really to get rid of Keaton Jennings up top. Late swing away from the left-hander. Bringing the changes now. Jordan Clark back into the attack. Slower ball. Yeah, it's just gone a bit quiet for these two.
It's a really good finish that over from Reece Topley after the no ball first up. Just 2 balls from the 6 legitimate deliveries that followed. That required run rate now above 13 for the first time.
And there is another one. Safely snared at backward point. Tom Curran this time.
Yeah.
So with that, Yas, with that, Lancashire's last hope of pulling off one hell of a heist goes. Chris Green, who, as Andy Brown pointed out, looked a little bit inconvenienced by maybe a bit of cramp, a bit of tightness. Looked a little bit incapacitated last couple of overs, and he holds out. 7 down now for 136.
Yeah, the pressure eventually tells for Lancashire. A really good mini period from first Reece Topley at the other end, and then Jordan Clark starting this over well. And Green's plucky innings comes to an end. Fought really hard. The game looked totally done and dusted very early on in the Lancashire run chase. 5 down inside the power play when Michael Jones fell caught and bowled off the bowling of Majid.
The run rate just going up from 12s to just shy of 14s, and I think Chris Green just struggling a little bit there physically, but as I said, when you have to get at that sort of score, you have to target the boundaries, the 6s, and I think that's why there've been quite a few dot balls because of that.
There'll be runs down the ground, be a couple at least. He'll run away. Yeah, be hauled in. Tom Hartley. We'll just keep on swinging like they all have, really. None of them have died wondering. I wonder if in years to come, Yas, that 6-ball 15 from Joe Moores
I was thinking
might be an I was there moment. Nothing like getting wildly carried away for no real reason.
I was not only thinking that, but I was thinking how many times are you going to refer to that in an introduction over the next maybe even 20 years?
As if you're innocent of such matters. Yeah, that's okay. In fact, no. Umpire decides in the end, Martin Saggers, to stretch the arms. Touch and go. Quick delivery. So you can always hear the crowd. They reflect what's happening. And there was a real buzz 20 minutes ago. And now they're just settling down, returning to their conversations. Now that's clothed, Ali. That's clothed, officially.
Definitely not cuffed.
No, that's clothed. Has to go there.
So a cloth is less than a cuff.
Line.
A cuff is
all
right. A cuff is like 75%. A cloth, what, 50, 40?
That's squeezed. And they will get back for a second. Just off one of the practice pitches, Sean Abbott. One of the very few minor blemishes. Otherwise, the ground fielding's been good and the catching's been brilliant.
Tell you what, Adam Thomas is a real live wire in the field. Someone who I think they really rate his fielding as well as his batting, of course.
He was in the slips, wasn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. A first-class debut. He was in slip cordon, which is not something you see very often. And he's been manning the boundary pretty much the entirety of the innings here, and in that almost the most important zone, deep mid-wicket. So clearly very trusted as a fielder.
So Majid's going to be given his 4th and final. He's already picked up a couple.
That's what you wanted Coughlin to do.
Yeah, indeed. Good to see him, though.
Oh, that's huge.
That's a monster. That should be locked up. It was asking for it. Real drag down. But yeah, as we say, he's a big lad, is Jack.
He's just been a little predictable, isn't he? I think he's either pushed it a little bit short into the leg stump, or pushed it a little bit wide as his two defaults.
Yeah, he's only 22, is Majid. Driven hard down the ground, but long offs in place. Just playing his 4th T20 as well at senior level. Picked up 3 wickets. So he's already got a couple in the back pocket this evening, which will do him some good. Looks like he has a bit of presence about him. Happy enough to direct the troops.
That was a better delivery from Majid. A bit more flight.
So it brings Blatherwick back on strike. He's eyed up that short boundary. He goes straight this time.
Obviously the wicket situation is different, but don't forget just how many runs Surrey were able to score at the end of their innings. 56 off the final 3.
Got him. Tidy work. Laurie Evans had to gather that. Kept his cool. Whipped them off. Tom Hartley goes. 8 down. So 3 for Majid. That'll do him the world of good. Just trying to make his way in the game. Establish himself in this team, as Yas said earlier. Very much in the shadow of those 2 worldies last year. But I imagine just watching Mitch Santner, he would have picked up a few tips, a few secrets, and given his head this year, it's a very, very useful start for him.
It's almost like Mitch Santner's a sort of a counter-puncher, isn't he? He's almost looking to see what the batsman does. He's got a lot of experience. He's a very, high-skilled bowler, but he's just almost, as a batter, you don't quite know when he's going to let it go, and then all of a sudden it comes.
Well, he's the very best to do what he does in T20 cricket. On left-arm finger spinners, you'd say that he's arguably the best in the world. Majid, he's done a good job tonight. 3 wickets, first time he's taken a 3-for in a T20. As that one's nudged into leg side by Sakeem Mahmood to complete the over in Majid's spell. 3 for 42 from his 4 overs. Given the other guys in the Surrey attack, I think he's going to find this summer that teams are going to target him. And I think he held his own well tonight and got 2 wickets in particular in Coughlin and Blatherwick. 2 guys who are really coming hard at him. And you could see, especially after the wicket of Coughlin, how much his teammates appreciated it as well.
Yeah, I like that he was calling the shots there as well, telling the grown-ups where to move, where to get to. A bit finer here, a bit squarer there. That's a good sign. So last knockings really of this one. And there you go, bang on cue. So 9 down now. It's been one of those nights really. As soon as there's a murmur of momentum for the Lightning, then it's nipped in the bud.
We saw Sir Jimmy Anderson with the ball earlier. We're going to see him with the bat.
I wonder, because he was injured, or he was certainly inconvenienced, and in fact that is going to be it. So 9 down in the end, but effectively it's 10. Anderson not coming out to bat would have been a forlorn and pointless endeavour anyway. So on a rather anticlimactic note, in truth, Surrey get it done, and get it done comfortably in the end. 59-run win. so much of that was down to Reece Topley, who really did blow this innings apart. First up, Lancashire needed a strong start, but instead it was Reece Topley. He's looking very chipper indeed, as well he might. That's a statement win early on. One of these mouth-watering games between two of the greats of English cricket. It was nip and tuck for much of Surrey's innings. Those final 3 overs really did take the game away from Lancashire, and then this crack bowling attack got it done, and got it done with ease.
Yeah, I thought Tom Curran's innings at the end of the game really swung the momentum. From a lot of it, there were, I'd say Surrey were ahead at the start. They had a very good power play. Great to see Jason Roy back up at the top of the order and playing with such fluency. A little bit of a hiccup in the middle, and then they got to, I thought Tom and Sam played very well in the middle to bring it back, and Tom to finish like that and to get to the that final target with sort of 40 or 50 off the final few overs was very impressive. And of course the start of the game with 2 wickets in the first over really swung everything. So that 5 over stint certainly changed the game. But lots to like about what Surrey did. I thought the fielding throughout was exceptional on a very, very high level, and there's a lot to like about in that Surrey performance.
Yeah, here's a look at the Lancashire scorecard. Real bother early on. 5 wickets fell in the power play itself. That 6-ball cameo from Joe Moores was one to remember. 2 extraordinary sixes off the bowling of Sean Abbott. Lancashire looked like they were down and out, but Chris Green and Paul Coughlin fought hard to keep them just about in the contest before that late flurry of wickets at the very end. So Surrey, in the end, win by 59 wickets. Majid ended up with 3 for 42. Topley was the pick-out, stand-out bowler, 2 for 27. Those 2 wickets in the power play in the first over with the first and fourth delivery of the innings really meant that Lancashire had an incredibly difficult task to win the game.
I believe, Yas, we've got the fan of the match with us.
A great win for Surrey, I'm sure you'll agree. But we now need to give away the Pommery Champagne fan of the match. Now, we've been watching everybody on the TV screens here, but I think we found a hardcore fan, and I think his partner as well. And it goes to this man over here. You are the winner of a Pommery Champagne Magnum fan of the match. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. He's teetotal. Back to you, Tony.
There you go. If you know who Tony is, then stick it on an envelope, send it through to us. There you go. So, in the end, a statement win, really, by Surrey. They've been impressive all day long. And what I like about this team is that it seems like they have the right components in place. They've given their head to the kid, Adam Thomas. They've reinstated Jason Roy back in the slot alley that you want to see him in, facing up immediately. They have that lethal middle order as well, the Curran boys and Dan Lawrence as well. It looks like they're taking it seriously this year. They always do, of course, but it looks like they are. They're clear and coherent in their plans.
Yeah, I think if you look at the top 7 from a Surrey point of view, they are likely, with the exception of Sam Curran, to be available for the entirety of the group stage, entirety of the competition actually. And also, sure, it was Tom Curran and Jason Roy who stood out most, but actually there were really encouraging signs from Adam Thomas on debut, Ollie Pope at 3 and Sam Curran at 4-2. So early signs are good.
I believe we have one of the stars of Surrey's innings, Jason Roy, imminent, ready to chat to us, to talk us through his outstanding knock of 45 from just 19 balls first up, 3 6s, 5 4s. Here he is.
So a thumping win for Surrey here at the Kia Oval to kick things off in style. Talking of kicking things off in style, the man who got things going this evening with me, Jason Roy. There's life in the old dog yet.
Oh, the old dog. I don't know how far I'd go with that, but yeah, feeling very good. Had some great prep leading into this, and the boys put on a good show tonight. And nice to get the ball rolling there with a good win.
You've played a lot of T20 cricket, a lot of cricket full stop, but always a few nerves ahead of that first game of the season, especially when there's a bit of a build-up to it.
Yeah, there's always a big build-up. Obviously, with us as Surrey, we've underperformed as a squad for a long period now. So there's obviously big pressure on us every single game, and especially to start the tournament off really well. We've got big aspirations this year for the tournament, so that's a good first step.
New opening partner for you tonight in Adam Thomas. What did you make of him?
Yeah, it was lovely. A breath of fresh air, mate. He's an incredible talent. He stuck to it there, stuck to his guns, and we had a lovely partnership together. Very nice and relaxed, and it was a lot of fun. And he's got a very bright future.
And we know all about Friday nights here at the Kia Oval, but just a word for these fans?
Yeah, incredible fans. Obviously, it's a hot day today, so I'm sure there's a few dehydrated people out there. But yeah, thank you to each and every one of you. You're always incredible. And yeah, hopefully we can get a few more good wins for you.
Talking of which, trip across the Thames for that match on Sunday. Looking forward to that?
Yeah, midday game. Should be bright out there as well. Always good to go over the river there and turn them over. So fingers crossed we can get one up on them.
Well, J. Roy, great to see you in fine fettle, and we look forward to seeing plenty more of that in the weeks to come. Jason Roy, everybody. So a great performance from Jason and, of course, from Surrey. Thank you so much for your wonderful support tonight. We look forward to seeing you again very soon. Have a safe journey home.
Yeah, there you heard it from Jason Roy. Adam Thomas is an immense talent who's going to go very far in the game. Those two really did get us going beautifully this evening. A sprightly partnership of 55. And then another 50 partnership, Adam Thomas with Ollie Pope. Slight middle order wobble, and then they came hard and then some in the final few. Tom Curran, perhaps the star of the game, 49 not out, bat 20 balls, 5 fours, 4 sixes, and he picked up an early wicket as well. Reece Topley, perhaps the pick of the seamers for Surrey. Plenty more cricket to come, of course. Look at this. So we have a women's game on Wednesday evening, and then another double header on Sunday the 31st, the London Derby, a sellout against Middlesex on the 3rd of June, and then another doubleheader on Friday night, a couple of weeks from now, June the 5th. Essex and then Hampshire Hawks will be the opponents. And so if you do fancy coming along, it's appointment to view stuff. Get onto kiaoval.com/tickets and see what's available. As I say, I'm afraid the London Derby, if you are looking to get in, no room at the inn, folks. It's always going to be the big fixture, of course, in London town. But the others, there will be a few kicking around. Do join us if you possibly can. And, of course, if you can't make it into the ground, we'll be following every single ball of both the women's and the men's stuff all summer right here on the Surrey stream. It's been, Yas, a pretty good opening night for the hosts.
I think it's a very good opening night for the hosts. They were challenged at times. Lancashire fought really hard. They bowled well for large sections of the Surrey first innings. They fielded really well too, and they fought hard with the bat. But Surrey, full of really established international class players, and it was a strength in depth within the 11 that really stood out today. 5 significant contributions with the bat: Roy, Thomas, Pope, Curran, and then with the ball, Reece Topley was outstanding. Yusuf Majid playing just his 4th game in the blast for Surrey was impressive too. And I think if you're a Surrey fan watching that, I think you have every right to feel optimistic about the summer ahead.
Final word from you, Alistair Brown. Who is your star of the match?
I'm going to give my star of the match to Jason Roy. I just like the way he set up the start.
Love him, don't you?
I do love Jason Roy. I think he's a phenomenal player. I think he's back where he needs to be at the top of the order. That gives them momentum. I think it allowed Adam Thomas to get into his role as well. He played really fluently. It's where I want to see him every time he plays in the T20. And I think he sets up, sides fear him. And, he's not as fearsome if you stick him at 3 and he's coming in the 7th over the men on the boundary. And to get off to that start, some of those shots were just sublime punches. There were no cuffs in there. They were all nudges for 4 and then some really strong shots. But it was the balance after he hit the ball as well. So I love that. There were lots of other good things in there, and I thought throughout the whole game, fielding was really on point.
Yeah.
But I really like what Surrey brought there. They can only get stronger. There are other players that may well come back into the side, but they got some great youngsters in there too. It's good for them to get experience, and they've got a lot of talent coming through. So, yeah, a lot to like. I think it was a very comfortable, certainly the back third of the game was pretty much done when Reece Topley just opened up the first over, and that really sort of put Lancashire on the back foot. But very impressive. I think they're a very strong side. I think they go very well in the competition, and it'd be great to see them sort of have a pop-up finals day where I think they'll be feared by one and all.
213 for 6, plays 154. It's a shellacking, really, in truth, for the Lightning. Surrey win by 59 runs. It's been a statement win under lights here. The crowd go home happy, and Surrey's campaign is off and running, as are we. Thank you so much for staying with us and joining us throughout the evening. We'll be back with further live coverage on Wednesday of the women's game, and then plenty more, all the fun of the fair. My thanks to Yas Rana and to Alistair Brown, and of course the team. I'm Phil Walker. We'll be back before you know it. Thanks for joining us.